Awesome. Welcome to Trugly Talks again.
Thanks. Great to be back.
Yeah. The last time I saw you was on, what was that island? It was in Croatia, outside of Split.
Korčula Island. Was that the right one?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't. No,
Var?
Vis Island.
Cool.
I think it was Vis Island.
Staying in the place, just doing exercise, pumping the health. Maybe we're in that shape. How old are you again?
I'm 23.
Cool.
What about you?
26. Going on 27,
Nice.
not soon.
Cool.
What's your star sign out there?
My star sign?
Yeah.
Capricorn.
Cool.
What about you?
It's Scorpio. Everyone seems to be really interested, but everywhere I go, when I'm in Australia or Asia, it seems like the day that it switches changes. So then I become a Libra. And as my buddy said, he's like, man, you're on the cusp, so you're going to show signs of both. That's just going to be what you're going to do. And I guess it shows definitely, because in other places, I am actually both. But get this.
When I was in Italy, I talked with this like really, really old lady. She was just staying in the same hostels as me. And she was from Slovenia. She said that I was Capricorn on top of Capricorn, which means I'm supposed to be like really, really serious and nothing but serious until I'm like 70, and then I'll become not serious anymore. I think.
I wonder what it is about 70 years old that changes it.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many dozens is that? Does that count? Is that what the months were?
Maybe I think it has to do with like the
24 hours.
rotation of the Earth and where the stars appear in the sky or something.
Yeah, for us, I wonder, they probably vary consistently in the same spot visually to our eyes, but it's ever expanding at a crazy fast rate that I can't really comprehend. Hey, have you seen the satellites in the sky from Tesla? Or
I have not, no, but I heard about them. Or was it SpaceX? Yeah,
SpaceX. Like same kind of dude.
Same guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All run by Elon Musk.
Motherfucker, putting so many satellites into the sky.
Yeah.
Saw them the other day. I thought there was only like 9 or 12 the first time I saw them. And
yeah, I heard they were just like a lot flying overhead, like in a row or something. Is that similar to what you saw?
Perfectly. So when you see them, you can't miss it because it's kind of bright satellites, and then they're not at all flying in different parallels. They're just equally following each other, and like in this like, before it was perfect gaps, but this time seeing it, it was like 2 and then 1, and then another 2 and then a 1, and it just kept doing that for about, oh man, I'm not sure because I was on psychedelics, but 20, or I would say 20, a lot more than 9. It just kept coming, and I'm like, holy smokes, that sky is going to be like full of them soon. Imagine it's just going to be a ring around the Earth in one spot, maybe, or I don't know how it is we don't just see them every couple hours.
Have you heard about what the purpose of those are? Is it just like exploration, or is it?
Oh, definitely. I heard it's for internet for everyone around the world. Like,
oh, cool.
They're gonna have to explore for sure how the hell this is gonna work. Like, are we getting signals? I'm sure they've already done so much math or so much physics and calculations behind it to not just fucking go for it. But
oh yeah, Elon Musk is such a crazy guy.
I think they're going for it.
Oh yeah.
I
saw this interview with Elon Musk the other day, and he was talking about drilling in LA also. Just like, he was on stage, he was like, yeah, we have to make it more cost effective by about one order of magnitude, so 10 times more cost effective. And he was just like, yeah, it's pretty straightforward to do that. We're just going to do this, and it'll make it 10 times more efficient to drill under the city of LA, and then people can just take their cars underneath on this little like train track and ride them all the way across the city. Like 120 miles per hour or something like that, I think.
Totally. Super fast I wonder if it'll be for the rich at first, or if it's going to be kind of available for everyone, or if giant trucks can't do it. Or I'm really looking forward to when giant trucks are AI, so people would like motherfuckers don't mess that up. And well, unfortunately for all those jobs, that's too bad. But
Yeah.
when
But maybe more jobs will appear in other places. I don't know.
yeah,
Guess we'll
everyone
see.
should just start sitting down and tinkering with coding and computers.
Yep.
Oh goodness, the world of coding is crazy. When I thought about it, when I see what my brother can do, he just said we have our music libraries, we produce music, and we have everything in separate folders. And then he's like, well, what the hell am I doing wasting time like having these separate? Why don't I just have it an automatic system that scans all the sounds and understands that that's a kick, that's a snare, that's a hat, and go through all these individual ones and just put them all together into one. And I'll just make a code for that. Like,
Yeah. Just like an organizational thing. So he like takes, is it like machine learning? Is he talking about he's like going to start playing hats or snares or something for it and be like, this is a snare, this is a hat, and the computer will get good at classifying it.
ooh,
Something like that.
I'm not sure how he'll work it. Maybe he'll do that, or maybe I don't know. It's endless. It's just Elon Musk would be like, oh, I know a fast way of doing that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Have you seen his Twitter? Elon Musk's Twitter? It's
No,
really
I've been
funny.
off social media since kind of COVID times.
Yeah. I don't use Twitter, but I just see on other places that sometimes he'll tweet the funniest things. Like he once tweeted that I think it was Tesla stock was too high, and immediately all the prices just dropped. Other times he says he's just going to quit all social media, and then he's like, oh, never mind, joking. One time I think he had a lawsuit also with something he tweeted. He lost like millions of dollars, maybe like $10 million or something like that, because he tweeted something he wasn't supposed to.
Dude, the guy must have a lot of money. I
Oh
just
yeah.
heard his second interview on Joe Rogan, and shout out to Joe Rogan, love you. And he was selling or moving out and like downsizing his house, just wanting a smaller place or just trying to downsize everything. But the guy has enough money to like, apparently a couple houses he just bought just because he didn't want them to go. He just thought, well, that house is kind of valuable to me. I could probably, it would be nice to save it, so I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah.
There's a story on that and a singer living in it before, and then it was the house across the street.
Wait,
Something
so he
along
was
those
living in
lines.
the house. He was living in a house across the street from a singer, and he was like, "I want that house."
Yeah, because it was just going to get knocked down or rebuilt, and then I guess maybe it was because it was going to be rebuilt. He's just like, well, I'll just buy it, and then there won't be construction across the road for like the next 3 years, kind of thing.
Nice.
But then he has that house and all the stuff in it, and now he's trying to sell it, and he's just got all this. He's got a lot of money, got a lot of stuff.
So now he has to sell it to someone who's not going to tear it down, because then he'll be in the same dilemma as he was in before.
Hopefully, and then maybe he loses a whole bunch of grand, but isn't worried about it because that's not a lot of money for him. Maybe
Probably not. Yeah.
hit
I think he's like a billionaire or something.
$10 million is not a big deal.
Yeah. It's just whatever, pocket change. Throws it around sometimes.
How much money
Where
do you
are you
have?
at right now? How much do I have right now?
Yeah.
I invested. Well, I just like got 15,000 invested in the stock market. I invested in airlines, which is probably a pretty stupid idea according to some people, but we're gonna see what happens. Just
Yeah, let's see what happens, man.
put them in, and yeah, I figure if I lose the money, I lose the money, and if not, then maybe I'll gain some money, and then I can keep playing the game.
Holy shit. Yeah, just keep adding it up. Play the game. Play the game.
Exactly. Why not? And then you lose big time, and you're just like, oh, I lost, and it feels so bad. But if I'd never played, I just would have never felt all this pain in the first place. But it's part of the game.
Yeah, Jesus. Have you played this game before?
No, this is my first time playing this game.
It's level 1. There's like
Yeah.
100 levels, and you're in level 1, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I just got some money in Bitcoin. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing like 15 grand, more like $200. Woo.
Cool.
Yeah, go up.
Nice.
It's got to go up like
I mean, if you
10%,
invested
and I would
back
get
in
20.
Yeah, I mean, if you invested back in 2015, 2016 in Bitcoin, $200, you'd be like really rich right now. Well, you'd have probably like $10,000 or something like that. I'm
Mm,
not entirely sure. I know it went up a
yeah,
ton. I'd have to
I've been
actually
eyeing it
look that
up,
up
and
though.
I remember because of this COVID-19 through the crisis and the drop,
Yeah.
we it it plummeted with everything else too, and I saw it, and I just looked at it was just a normal how you would look at investing uh, with the graph and looking at the before and after and being like, this is a huge low. I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
in, man. But I just didn't have my
Oh yeah.
Interact card, and I wasn't aware that things move so fast. And then just days later, it just skyrocketed up like $3,000 from 6,000, and now it's
Oh yeah.
finally by the time I got in at 10,000, it's up to kind of 12 and 13,000 per Bitcoin. So that's like
Nice.
it doubled. It went up 200% from what it was before, which is
Pretty solid gain so far.
yeah. If people, the people just holding on to Bitcoin, they're gonna be
Yeah.
doing good.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm in Victoria. I'm staying
Cool.
at this beautiful girl's house that I reconnected with from 4 years ago. She let me into her space so quickly, and so blessed. I can't believe where my life has taken me and how else's life is different. I was out trying to fix this bike because supposedly I'm on a bike trip. I I came to Victoria to visit my brother to get out of the same space that I was in during COVID, which was Golden, BC, which is where I grew up. And my dad's bike is out here, and it's just this old, solid frame, not that light, just with a bike rack on it. Bicycle that I'm gonna pedal back to Golden, which is about 800 k's, or yeah, maybe 850, something like that.
Sweet.
So I'm biking today because I snapped the brake because the brakes are so old that the wire just snapped. Things age, and just fixing it up a little bit at the bike shop. No tools. Have to politely ask like, "Yo, I want your stuff, but I don't want you to work on this for me to owe you a bunch more. Let me just fix it myself. But can I use your tools?" Get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here. Um, and I was biking around and I was just looking at everybody, and there's a lot of homeless people in Victoria right now. And they don't look like they're having the best time, which
Yeah.
I'm, I guess, if I was homeless, which I have been in Croatia and things, and I don't have a home now, I'm just staying with a friend. Like, I don't know where you get into a point where you lose all that, or you have to make it such a not a fun time, or like be so unhealthy on yourself.
Yeah.
If I'm homeless, I'm still gonna eat like straight up vegetables, and I'm going to be, but I guess it's just not in my nature because I'll be, my computer breaks. I would get a job to get a new computer to start producing music on the street somehow using people's electricity, and then I would just end up playing shows and then getting money from that and being like, well, with all this money now I get a studio. And
Oh,
so
for
I can't,
sure. Yeah.
it's just, I guess, not in the nature of the body I've been gifted and the mind that
Yeah.
I've been gifted.
Yeah, I agree. I've never been able to imagine being in a mindset like that. I don't think just being homeless, but also in this kind of complacent position. But I also am not a very complacent person. Like even when I'm very comfortable, I like to kind of like imagine how things could be better, which can be kind of unhealthy in some other ways.
It's,
But
it's aggressive. It's,
yeah,
yeah, it's painful when you're
it's
just
like,
sitting
oh, I
there
have
and you
everything
can't
I need.
chill.
I have
Yeah.
everything I need. I have excess food, excess water. I have this beautiful place I'm living right now, a wonderful bed. Like I can have whatever I want. How can I have more?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what makes
Yeah.
us put like 20 satellites in the sky to have internet everywhere, or
Yeah.
to build lighter bikes. Who are the people who actually,
Yeah.
where the hell are they to just be like, yeah, let's combine these metals and make a lighter frame and
Yeah.
see if we can get these things just going faster. They're the same as they always been. But where do they
Yeah.
get where do they get their
Motivation?
investment money? Where do they get their,
Yeah.
how do they start? Wake up
I
every
was
day?
reading.
I
Have
think
you
I
heard of the book
almost figured it out.
*Sapiens* at all before?
Yes. Yeah, my buddy
Really
read
good
it
book.
during COVID and would kind of.
Insanely good book. Yeah, just came to mind because you were talking when you were talking about the where's like where all the resources come from, thinking about motivation and like what's the point of all this progress. Because he talks about, in his opinion, stuff like the agricultural revolution even was a big step backwards for mankind. In the book, he was talking about how during the hunter-gatherer period, people were working maybe 35 hours a week, and then they just go and like chill with their tribe, hang out with the kids, and play.
Yeah.
But as soon as agricultural revolution happened, people were working like 80, 90 hours a week, and then industrial revolution, same. It's like we make all this progress with science and with technology and stuff, but does it actually lead us to be happier?
But it
and healthier in the
also,
long run?
getting all the extra stuff is taking too much from the planet, which is also giving us issues to then make us need to put work into fixing our issues, which
Yeah.
the issue might have been getting too much or moving too much that now your bones are sore and like you can't even get stuff for yourself. Now you want money from the government. Or
And when you start having children, like families of 10 children, because you had the resources and you were settled in one place, you can't go back now. You can't like hit the control and alt delete button on the
that's
children
more
you had.
common in the
It's just
past
gonna
because
continue.
now I don't know, people don't want to sacrifice what they have in the future. Like, are you gonna have kids?
Yeah.
When are you gonna have them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it like all that we're waiting for is for someone to stumble into us? It's like it doesn't. I don't. It kind of seems easy, maybe. But
I go back and
also
forth between
impossible?
whether or not I want children in this, mostly just because like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I think it'd be really cool to have children, and that I feel like it's an essential part of the human experience, kind of. But then another part of me that is very pessimistic on how the future might turn out is like, if I have a child and bring it into the world, like I'd have to worry about the future so much, and if the future seems like it's not going to play out very well, like
I think it'll give
stuff.
people like something healthy to do
that's true.
with
Yeah,
with their worry, and like as much as you work and put in your energy with, the more you're going to get out for that offspring of yours, and like something that you can really cherish and deeply care about. Like that
Yeah.
guy who's building the lighter bikes. He's like, man, just got to get up. I got to do a better job at this. And the harder he works, man, he just makes this amazing, better. I got two bikes, one to the left,
nice.
one to the right. The one on the right is it's the girls who I'm staying with, and it's way nicer. And then the one on the left is like, they did their best at the time with what they had. And
Yeah,
the 1990s,
and it functions.
maybe
That's
80s.
if it functions, it's good.
Thinking about like being able to write down things on paper and books. I don't know if they talked about that in Sapiens, but the writing of how to make that bike will always be there, and we can just 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds can read that book and
Yeah.
get that knowledge that someone had to learn it all then, and then just be like, wow, this is cool, but I already see an error by the time they're 15, riding these bikes, thinking about, this new metal came out, why don't I just adapt this? And this is the life of the bike guy.
Yeah, it's crazy how, I mean, just development of language over time, like being able to go from not having language at all or having language in a very like primitive state to just only being able to talk about things like, oh look, it's the sun, or oh look, it's a elephant or something like that, to being able to describe abstract stuff, and then also being able to take stuff and write it down and save it, pass it through generations, not lose information, to like digital stuff now, which is even crazier. What we can do with data.
Podcast listeners, I just want to introduce Daniel. I met him at a rave, and well, he was just looking for someone to hang with, and heck, I was too. And we got to spend some great time with a lot of British people in Croatia. Some of this we've done a podcast before back in season 1, man, when I wasn't on Spotify. But
you're on Spotify now?
Oh heck yeah!
Oh, nice.
Yeah, officially, and it's explicit, so you can say fuck if you want to.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, mic volumes are cleaner. We're a little less sunburnt, or maybe we're the same amount of sunburnt. mathematician. I just snooped your Facebook to understand what you're up to a little bit too, and you're doing some aerial photography at the moment, or
Yeah. Well, so every time I come back to the United States, I like get into this mindset of becoming a good capitalist. Like when I'm traveling, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna live like not spending any money, spend like try to like limit all my purchases, and then I come back here and I'm sitting at home, have access to tons of stuff, like I was saying, and I'm like, I have this urge to just buy things and consume things.
Yeah.
So I bought this cool drone. It's a DJI Mavic Air 2, and it's super cool.
What's that thing cost?
It'll fly up. This was about $1,000 for the drone plus the batteries, but yeah,
snooping on people.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you good at flying it, or is it hard to fly? How do you fly it?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's this like remote controller. It's really similar to playing a video game. So you put your phone in this little thing here.
Yep.
And you like I think I just turned it on. Whoops. And then there are two little things here. There's one that makes it go up and down and rotate, and then the other one just like takes it laterally, forward, backward, or left or right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too hard.
Not too hard at all.
Awesome. And then how do you land it?
Cool footage. You just so there's a takeoff button on your phone, and it'll just start sort of like a helicopter. And then to land it, you just bring it above a relatively flat surface and take it straight down.
True. Yeah. Thought maybe there's a land mode, something, or...
Nah. But one time I was trying to land it, and it didn't want to go backwards farther because there was a rock kind of close. And so I landed it in a place that wasn't ideal, and one of the propellers hit a rock and scraped a little bit, which was kind of sad, but...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Right into where we left off before I wanted to just introduce you before we got caught away from that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that you're saying we had primitive language and how the language is adapted because of our times. Now,
yeah.
What I've realized, and I've been hanging out with a forager these days.
Yeah.
This guy who likes to just look on the ground, and when he sees a plant, know medicinal benefits and know what it's called and what you can do with it. And they would have known more of that in the past. They would have known a lot more than that. We're maybe taking it for granted, or we're maybe underselling them a bit because they were probably equally as smart. Like my father says, things change, people don't. They might have had the same brain capacity as we did,
so Neanderthals back in 200,000 BC supposedly had bigger brains than us.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
But we killed them.
We did kill them, yeah. Probably. Probably.
What is it like? Well, we breeded with them. You can see some Neanderthal in people.
Yeah. In Europeans, I think they measure about 2%-ish Neanderthal in people's DNA, which is kind of cool.
Well, that's a little bit weak compared to what we are now.
It's pretty weak.
Why did the Neanderthals go? Do you know?
One of the leading theories right now that they talk about in *Sapiens*, if you want to read it, or any of your listeners want to read it, because it's such a good book, is there were 5 different human species other than just Homo sapiens, but Homo sapiens survived because it seems like they were the only ones who could effectively communicate using language and band together in larger groups using things like myths or stories. Other animals could just kind of do that thing with ooh, it's a gorilla, look, it's this plant or whatever. But the ability of Homo sapiens to say, hey, look, up in the sky there's a god shooting lightning down or something like that, might have allowed having a shaman or something like that. Maybe Neanderthals didn't have something like a shaman or that role in their tribe is one of the main theories right now. Yeah.
That reminds me of so as you grow up, you go whatever way you go, and I grew up just wanting to have less carbon footprint, and then one way of doing that's eating vegan or vegetarian, just cutting some meat out of your diet, and then it's everything you do, you process what the hell you're doing. I'm thinking, I love the taste of it, and I grew up with it, and now is the time for change, and I should change. And then I think, about all the epic history we have with eating meat and how that would have given us the time. Speculation, this is my idea. When you did the hunt and you got the meat and you had full tummies for longer amounts of time, you were not in that primal urge, and you were able to have clear thoughts and focus your communication on the explorative ideas or the stories or how someone died in the hunt. You have more time to sit because this food in you sits in your gut longer and can give you more nourishment longer than, say, just a couple berries. Berries don't have as many calories.
Yeah, for sure.
Per se.
And I mean, you look at our teeth, like human teeth are meant to like to tear into meat, like undoubtedly biologically. But it's so important. I think like it is true that there are sustainable ways to get meat, and there are ways that are not sustainable. And like looking at the ways that animals are just raised for slaughter now in these massive farms, taking up a ton of land, a ton of places to raise corn to feed them. And then just seeing the conditions they're in too, because they're suffering their entire lives from the moment they're born. A lot of them are kept inside this like little tiny pen.
There's no love, man.
Until they're old enough to slaughter, and then they're just
money.
Killed.
Yeah. So I looked at it too. Someone brought it into my attention. Like you are putting a price on love and life in purchasing meat like that. Meat is a being, and if you do keep purchasing that kind of meat, you are gonna be putting your price and dollar on, through like adding resources to the people who keep doing that. They're just people. They had an idea, they got one, or they grew up in it, and they're just doing their thing. And until we decide that that's not how we want to do things on the planet, like altogether, they'll just kill the cows, or they'll give them away when it's time for them to stop.
Yeah. But also, like, just taking the amount of meat that Americans eat in a year and how much land it takes to grow all that meat to produce. If all the rest of the world tried to do that, there would not be enough land in the world. If land were only used to grow cattle and grow animals, there would not be enough land to raise all the meat necessary for everyone to be able to live the way that Americans do.
Dang, son.
As far as eating things.
That reminds me of something I saw, like just the cattle industry of shipping cows to America from Australia. There's people who just like make cow boats and just move cows over there to then slaughter them for burgers.
That's such a strange image. I was imagining like nailing cows together into
cow boats.
Just like a cow sail. That was
Jesus,
a
cow hide.
Yeah.
Bones of the cow, but like
as wood for a boat. Yeah, and like leather, like sewing leather together for sails.
What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten?
Craziest thing I've ever eaten? It's not that crazy, actually. I was just in New York. I went to this place in Chinatown, which for me is like crazy.
Well, come on, man.
I'm from America.
Story time for everyone.
Yeah, but I had fish head soup, which was pretty cool. It was like a lot of fish heads in soup.
Tasty?
It was pretty tasty, but also I was just kind of off-put because I'm used to, I think, not eating fish heads. So just the idea of like picking up this big thing and being like, oh, that's an eye, and that's like probably part of the brain, and just kind of eating it.
Yeah.
It was like very savory, tons of flavors, but I had to like, there was this mental block I had of like, I'm eating brain and I'm eating eyes. And you just have to like kind of hold that and also hold the action itself.
What is it like?
In your head, I guess.
Yeah, if you think about it though, when you eat the brains, that's perfect brain food.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Brains.
What about you? What was the weirdest thing you've eaten?
Coming at you. In Vietnam, it's tradition in like the Phang Nga region, the caves, where they eat the like unhatched embryo of fertilized eggs. Like, so it's a slightly produced chicken. It's not a raw egg. It's been a fertilized egg, and it grows. Discretion, people. This is fucking. It was so nasty. So celebratory. Crack the top. Sip the juice. They love it. I'm sitting with like 3 quite probably the coolest Vietnamese people because they could speak some English doing tour guiding, and they just left the big city to go tour people in these caves. The biggest caves in the world are in this area.
Cool.
And biggest, like, I think maybe in size, stature, and whatever. And we're just having a time, and they just get this tourist to do this thing. It's a special time because they've met me, and we're having a beer or two, and we're crack the top off, and that's celebratory. You drink that, and we're sipping the top.
You start with the beer, and then they bring out the eggs, and
yeah, it's.
Where do you go after that?
Oh, and that got me thinking about tradition too, how they don't think it's weird, and they don't get cringy. And that makes me think about everything we do, and
yeah,
one thing that we did the other night, which is hilarious, and it means a lot to me, is shotgunning a beer. Shotgunning a beer in my culture, in my upbringing, it was something we did. We took people's shotgun virginities. Whoever was the fastest was kind of like a hero, and it brought everyone together, and it was just something to do. And then it's kind of like you could just eat the egg, or you could wait till it hatched and eat the chicken, but it's just something that you do, that you open this top, you sip the juice, and then there's a little chicken in there. They said I was lucky because it didn't have hair yet. It was just like the shape of, and like the tendons were growing, and its little head, and then you just dip that sucker in salt, take some crunchy bites of this poor little dude who's not born yet, / totally dead, I think. Like,
was it alive right before you were eating it? Do you know, or was it killed like a while before?
Are they not?
They came to you?
Or I guess, do they stop growing when the heat's there, or when is something alive truly? When it's like, is it actually? I guess they have to have thinking.
I guess I was thinking more along the sense of like, were they incubating it and like raising, or like not raising it, I guess, but trying to like keep the egg warm, like it were to hatch until the moment they consume them, or.
I don't think it's high tech what's going on. I think it's all like, there's cows running around, there's chickens that, I freaking ran over. So there's like,
here's this egg that we found lying around somewhere. Do you want to just like take it and drink it? There's a baby chicken here. How'd that happen?
Yeah, no, but they know. They picked the ones, and they got this dozen, and everyone picks one, and it's just luck of the draw of how they're grown and how big they are yet. Some of them are less hairy and more just like sort of, it was like almost like it was slightly cooked a bit, because it was still a little bit white and yellow, and it hadn't like produced all the blood yet. Oh, discretion.
Somebody gets like a deform check sometimes.
What did you say?
Just like compare them. You're like, your friend gets a deform check.
Ooh, or something. I wasn't comparing. I was just trying to
tried to stomach it.
Yeah. And why is that? I don't know. It's just food. Someone who's starving would freaking love that protein.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And the spice salt mix was just deadly. Salt's so addicting. Hey, quick
It's one of those things too, probably. I mean, like, what? If you're a kid before 2 years old or something, I don't remember where I read this or heard this, but I think that there's a certain age when children start becoming disgusted by stuff, and before that age, they're not really disgusted or fearful of anything.
But they refuse food, for sure. You see a baby definitely push things away.
Yeah. But I wonder if, like, something like their reaction to the chicken that's partially grown, chicken fetus or whatever, in the egg would be similar to my reaction with green beans when I was growing up. Just push them away with the same instinctual, just disgusted feeling.
Well,
that I got from eating green beans.
So much different when a little baby's grossed out by something, because it's just even the amount of energy that a baby is smaller than when a full-grown adult or a young, powerful traveler who's fit gets fucking conked out and like out for the count. That's like. Or even some big sailor or something just being grossed out and vomiting, as opposed to a little baby just grossed out. Oh, little vomit. Oh, yeah. There you go, little baby.
The traveler, having been all around the world, seen all this crazy shit, like
it only gets
come to this place, can't eat something that a 3-year-old eats on a day-to-day basis.
Well, that's what I was saying too with the culture and how people really praise, or it's all time and time with and time spent with people, like love and the love for doing it again and wanting me to have this experience. And it's just something that people do. It's not necessarily good or bad, and everyone does their thing differently, whatever it may be in your area. Hey, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Colorado, Montrose, Colorado. Pretty small town, like 20,000, 25,000.
You do anything weird? Anything weird growing up? And by weird, I mean like, so to us that's weird, but for them to come over and like how you did something, do you think any of it was weird?
So
you might not, because you're you and you grew up in it.
Yeah, I know.
And that's
in hindsight, having spent some time now with some people, a lot of people from the city, going to college with them and stuff, one thing I realized most people don't understand is hunting, which is not super weird for people who live in a rural area. Everyone hunts. And I think that's actually a really valuable experience, going back to that idea of getting meat in a sustainable way. If you're hunting in a way that is like, I mean, one thing that I was taught growing up, going hunting with my dad, is you have the animal and you are very grateful to the animal. And just also being out there and having to skin like the elk or deer that you shoot and take all the meat off of the bone, bag it, deal with like the smell, because it's just like this really musky, strong smell of the animal. I remember the first time I helped my dad skin an elk and put the pieces in a bag. I went home and ate some like fruit, a fruit cup, and I just smelled the elk in the fruit cup as I was eating it. I still smelled the musk, and I just imagined it was kind of a traumatic, but also very
I wanted to
good
say,
experience,
was
I'd say.
Traumatic for you?
Yeah, kind of traumatic, but I feel like
how old were you?
Also one of those good traumatic. I was like 8 or 9 the first time I helped him. Yeah.
That's about the age, I guess. I don't know how much smaller of a child you could have going out hunting.
Yeah. That's something kind of crazy for people that don't grow up in an area like this, I think. Trying to imagine actually going into nature, shooting something and getting your meat that way is something that a lot of my friends that I talked to in college just were kind of not.
It's so weird, eh?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm messaging my younger cousin. I've been away from her for a long time, and now we have the ability to connect over Facebook, and it's really cool. It's always cool seeing someone with your same last name. They're special to you for some reason. You love them. They're your blood. They're your family. And so we're connecting, and she can be a bit of a handful. She has a lot of things to say, a lot of things cooped up, a lot of, I don't know, wanting to be loved energy, and I try to give it to her, but at certain points I can't be on the cell phone talking to someone distantly while they're just complaining about their lives. But recently I'm just where I am, and I thought about her where she is, and she asked me what I'm up to make myself feel good, and I just said, like, I'm making a tea out of herbs I picked. And this is thankful to the foraging guy recently. He got me so excited about when you actually see something and it's so easy to identify a plant, and we do it and we're like, oh, that's mint. But actually just grab a handful of it, as long as it's not ruining the rare mint population of some area, or totally stealing from grandma's garden and she uses it. Don't do that. If it's plentiful and growing, just grab it and use it, and you're going to be doing that with your time. But I was thinking about her and her city landscape, and not even being able to think about it, because potentially in that area of suburb Ontario, man, I don't even think what grows. Like, you got dandelions. Dandelions can be used for salads.
Pigeons.
A little bit bitter. Not the best.
You have lots of pigeons growing everywhere.
Yeah, people get weird though when you start throwing rocks at them, or they're like, oh, we got a serial killer on the list here. Get him or her on the list. Keep a watch on her.
Yeah, also space, right? Space is a thing that's really difficult to try to manage in the city. Like I guess you can have window boxes or something that you use to grow herbs. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people that live in cities also just don't have any space to their themselves outside of their maybe
So
apartment.
these people can't even think about something like I'm communicating. Like it just and I've been in some pretty green areas, but I never really got down with it. And God, is it ever easy? And God, is it ever rewarding? Just just walked to the beer store yesterday, got a handful of fennel and lavender, and put that to, tear it up, put it in a pot with a little bit of a herb mix, and just let that thing sit full pot. I had 4 teas over the night, had 1 this morning, and
nice.
It's so cool. Tasty. It's so tasty. And if you look up all the medicinal factors to this stuff, could be placebo, could be like a star sign horoscope that you don't believe in. Doesn't matter if you believe in it and you're drinking it. If you believe in
it, it's going to do something for you.
Dude.
Placebo is so strong.
It is strong. They were doing placebo
maybe
to
the strongest thing.
People in World War II when they ran out of not ketamine. What's the popular heroin?
Heroin?
No,
that's pretty popular. Yeah, everyone loves heroin.
I don't know what it was.
Poppy?
Mescaline?
I don't know.
No, mescaline.
World War II?
World War II? World War I?
World War I? I know they were saying.
Anyway,
yeah,
they ran out of. It's what the medics gave you in the little thing. Wait.
Opium.
Opium? It's an opiate. Maybe. Opium? Maybe it was that for pain relief.
Opium was a thing for a while in some places.
Sorry, listeners, but they gave them sugar pills, and they said it was an untested painkiller that has remarkable effects, and it's just been brought in for this war, and it was just sugar. Totally fooled these people into, like, they are missing legs, and they're asking them over and over, trying to be like, how is the medicine working? How are you doing? And the relationship of where you are in shock and what's going on, and you could believe it. And a lot of soldiers were feeling very little pain or none at all, saying like this, they've been convinced. It's just totally tricked. But
there's a show on a show on Netflix called 100 Humans that I also got into and binge watched a couple of weeks ago. They have like 100 humans. They do all these different experiments with them. There's this one episode where they try to make them feel pain and pleasure through a machine that's actually doing nothing, just through anticipation. And they brought a guy in, and they were like, they had him hold out his arm, and they're like, okay, so that you're going to feel extreme amounts of pleasure. Prepare yourself for all the pleasure you're going to be feeling. It's going to be incredible. Put him in a robe, just like he's at the spa or something. Like, okay, level 1 pleasure. How do you feel? And he says, I'm feeling something, yeah. On a scale of 1 out of 10, are you feeling maybe a 5? If I'm feeling 6, I'm feeling good.
Oh,
okay, we're going to take it up to level 2. Now are you feeling? I think like an 8. I'm feeling really, this is nice. Wow. And then they take it up a little. He goes to like a 9, I think, out of 10. It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, of course not a 10 out of 10. That doesn't exist, man.
Yeah.
You ever in the game of like, how cute is she, man? 1 out of 10, you're like, oh yeah, she's definitely a 9, man. Because the 10 is like in the dreams, the perfect of all. You can't even imagine. It's
impossible.
You can't really. You certainly couldn't draw it unless you're a great artist, which I don't know
I'm
about.
a horrible artist. I could not draw it. I
couldn't draw it. It would be less than a 10 at that point. It could only possibly.
If I draw a stick, if I try to draw a woman right now, I'm not even sure. You probably would not be able to tell that it's a woman, or maybe even.
I would go stick, give it a dress, maybe a bit of hair on the sides.
Good. Yeah, just stick with a triangle in the torso. That's the way to.
Yeah,
the way to do
that's it. It's wearing some sort of dress.
That's a solid 4 out of 10 right there.
Ladies can wear whatever they want. It's fine, And guys, we're in that world now where. Oh, God, I just checked out some guy's ass today. Thought it was a girl. Oh, God.
Nice.
Yeah, you're just cruising. I'm like, whoa, check that thing out. And
or like drag. Sometimes drag, like,
oh, yeah.
They get up and it's like, wow, they're really attractive. And then you're
lady
like,
boys.
Yeah.
Lady boys, man. It's a big thing. I think they got, I think they did this placebo thing too. Fuck, I don't know what it was. Jackass or something. But they got prostitutes but they were lady boys, but they're just really good looking girls. Boys.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Really
whatever they
good
want to be
looking
called.
feminine characteristics.
For me, depends what you're into, right?
Yeah.
I think we all kind of appreciate the female body. It's just so smooth and slender, and I think girls appreciate that too. But then when they crave the masculine figure, hairy, rougher, beat up,
Yeah.
you can look at a guy and it's a little more attractive for what you're craving at the time. But the
Yeah.
slender curves are always pretty for everyone, I think, even back in the day.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think so.
I wanted to
Yeah.
ask, where the heck did you go? Like, in keeping it short, or some highlights. Let's talk about
After Croatia?
after Croatia. I was watching posts. It was endless. It was great, and you're stoked.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I wanted to introduce as well. Like, digital nomad, an actual living human who's out there. Are you still working digitally?
Still doing it. Yeah, I had a meeting with my boss yesterday. Pretty pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah,
but
back home.
Yeah, but also back home. But I mean, also being quarantined is not that bad. Maybe we can get to that after. I'll start with so Croatia.
What?
After Croatia, so I went to Dubrovnik and I had this like mental breakdown in Dubrovnik, which is a whole the whole thing. I was
Love
in
to hear
Dubrovnik,
about it. Go
tons
right
of tourists.
in it, man.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So tons of tourists. I was having a great time hanging out with this really cool dude.
Hold on. How long have you been traveling for?
I've been
At
traveling
this point? Or like
So-
at that point there. So
Yeah.
had you left and you're learning that you can make money abroad, and you are learning, like, just exploring a lot. You hadn't really been to even, in my world, I don't know, music festival, but a lot of people haven't either, to like somewhere that is like kind of can be beautiful and a transcending experience through
Oh yeah.
potentially some psychedelic drugs, or just ritually dancing with water all night under a large subsonic sound system.
Yeah.
How long it had been? It had been a couple just months since I met you.
Yeah, I graduated from college in June, I think last June 5th. It's been a little bit over a month now, or sorry, a year
Is this
since
a
I
year?
started. Yeah, it's just a year since I graduated.
Heavens, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Mathematician.
immediately started traveling the moment I graduated. Went to Germany with my mom at first, which was lots of fun. Traveled to Berlin, Prague, Munich, Salzburg.
With mom?
Just with my mom. So we did most of the walking tours and that sort of stuff. But it was really cool. It was her first
She
time
wanted
ever outside
to,
the U.S.
She a nervous Nelly the entire time traveling, or
She did really well. I was really proud of her. She did a good
stoked?
job. Yeah.
Has she ever been?
No, this is her first time outside the U.S. It was crazy, and her family's
you
from Germany,
a
so
Nervous Nelly. Were you a nervous Nelly at
I
first
was
with your mom?
How's
this gonna go?
I don't think I was too
What are we
much
gonna
nervous,
do?
Nelly, but it was.
Is she gonna hold me back?
There was a little bit of like a. There was a little bit of like that. Sometimes I felt a little bit. It was kind of like I get into these mindsets where I was like, okay, I'm here for her, and then we'd be hanging out with some other people, and I'd be hanging out with them, and I'd be like, okay, where is she? Oh, she's here. Okay, we're good. So I would feel that way sometimes, but overall, it was a really cool experience. Being able to be with her for the first time, she was so excited about everything, I think most people are when they leave the States for the first time.
The two people. Oh, anyone, man. Think about those kids in Vietnam coming over to Canada. Like, and if you get to experience that with anyone at the same time, you're just like, holy, did you see that? And it could be just some timing of a guy going down the street with a big tuba and an accordion and a trombone for his band practice or something. You're like, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
What the? This place
It
is
was
crazy.
the one of the greatest things. So I love to stay in hostels, and I was like, okay, Mom, we're just gonna stay in hostels. I'm gonna show you how to do it really cheap. We're not gonna stay in hotels. We're gonna like spend $5 to $10 a night, stay in these hostels.
How did you learn about
It was
that?
funny. The very first hostel that we went to in Germany was the worst hostel I've ever stayed in Berlin. We walked in and it was just like rickety, run down. And we walked in. The guy was like very standoffish. We were trying to talk to him, get our room key. He was just not wanting to talk to us at all in English.
Not
And I
overly
was like,
welcoming.
okay, Mom, I'm really sorry. I promise this is not how it usually is. This is one of the worst hostels I've stayed in. Shower was broken. The bed was really dirty.
How did you know? How did you know about hostels if this was your first time out?
Oh, so this is not my first time out. It was her first time out. But I traveled. So I didn't travel at all before college, and then I went to Princeton, which has a lot of money. So I scammed them and went to there. You could sign up for classes and do singing groups and stuff, and they take you on free trips, or you can apply for grants and go. So I went to South Africa with a. I mean, typically if I went on a trip with them, it was 5-star hotels, crazy, which is cool, but also like you don't really feel like you can connect. I never felt like I could connect as much.
That shit is weird.
Because you're driving around these massive tour buses in a place like Soweto, South Africa, and you look out the window, there's slums everywhere, and you're in this massive air-conditioned tank going through the center of, and they're like, oh, look to the right, there's where Tutu lived, there's where Nelson Mandela. We're not going to get out of the bus because it's not safe, but we're just going to show you all the sights.
Yeah, how can you fucking be a human and not feel when you're in that bus, that tube? Yeah, it's so crazy when you're actually present and you think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, fuck yeah, turn the heat up, turn it down. I need to be more comfortable. Yeah.
Turn the music on. Yeah.
Oh, Nelson Mandela. Picture. Yeah.
Nelson Mandela. In his house, I was here. Look at me. Yeah. Having a great time.
Check this out. Put it on the wall next to the other, like, 1,000.
Oh, yeah. So I did trips like that, which was not, that's a completely different type of traveling. But I got this grant end of my sophomore year of college to go to Nepal for the summer. So I got $5,000 to go trekking in Nepal. And
how do you...
It's so stupid. There are all these grants that no one applies for at Princeton because they're all kind of like, there are so many people that are just have their career goals in mind. And they're just like, okay, which is great. Like, it's cool, really cool to have an internship, have your idea, you know what you want to do, you get your time in, you get a good spot, cool. But that means that there are so many people who do that path that there are a lot of these like grants that no one really applies for that are they're just free money to pursue independent projects. So this was just a grant. It said it can't be related to your major or career interests. It's just I think they called it a project for self-development. So I was like, I'd like to go to Nepal and hike in the Himalayas for 2 months. So yeah.
Well, that's true, man. That'll teach you a shitload about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
What you can do, what you can eat, what you can see and feel, how you feel.
Also, I mean, completely separate from myself, just entering this place with... when I first got off the airplane in Nepal and was driving in a taxi to my hotel I was staying in, just looking around and seeing all the animals in the street and like people everywhere, children crossing the road with bags of something and women and monkeys and cows and all the dirt and rundown buildings. I just remember thinking, I'm going to die here. I have a bag. I look wealthy. I'm going to be mugged. All my stuff is going to be taken. I'm never going to make it out. This was such a bad idea. Why did I come here? Those are all the thoughts that were going through my head when I first got there. I mean, I adjusted after a couple of days. I met this really cool girl. She showed me around and was like, "Hey, look, you can go to this restaurant."
Nepalese?
And order. She was actually from Denmark. She just finished hiking. Actually, that was crazy too. That's a whole nother story. Do we want to go there? This is completely unrelated. I could go there.
Go in it, man. How crazy is it, really?
So I met this girl. So just finished driving. I was like,
are you one with the ladies, Daniel? Are you comfortable with girls? Are you just so easy with them because you don't think about how crazy you can get with them like I do? I get weird if I'm with a cute girl. I'm like, I can't speak because I just have these bad ideas or great ideas in my mind, which make interacting difficult as a normal person.
Sometimes I do think it depends on the circumstance. In this case, I was just so traumatized by what I had been thinking in the taxi that I came in and I'm about
to die. Fuck it. I need to talk to you. We got to talk.
Well, I got there and I was just talking at light speed. I remember I came in, made it up. She was like asleep, woke up. She was like kind of groggily, like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was just like, oh, I have all my stuff. I'm unpacking now, and I'm gonna go hiking. And she was like, cool. Just got talking. We went out just to grab a meal and get some wine and stuff. But she told me that she was hiking on one of the trails. She was doing the Annapurna circuit, which was the last to hike I was going to do. And she was with a friend that she met who died going over Annapurna Pass, the high pass, the wrong law. Because she got to the top, had horrible altitude sickness, was stumbling around like she was drunk, got back down, went to sleep, and didn't wake up.
Oh.
First night in Nepal, getting ready to do these high altitude treks after experiencing this thing with driving in the taxi. And then she tells me this, and I feel just so... I mean, obviously it's horrible to imagine being in her shoes and have to, like... She was hiking with this girl for 10 days, and then she died, which is, I can't imagine how traumatic.
Was it a friend of hers? Do you remember that one?
She, according to her, she met this person in Nepal, and they just started trekking together.
Yeah, holy crap, man. Yeah, just that'll make you feel lucky. That'll make you feel so lucky, because it's pretty hard to explain, especially. A doctor or a medical professional could have a lot of ideas, but coming from me, thinking about what really makes someone do that, because I'm in a believer of like a strong headspace now too, and breathing exercises, and Wim Hof is going to climb the Himalayas in 1 day, which is physically impossible, and he's 61, and he's going to do it with 30 other people, and they're going to break all the fucking boundaries just through breathing hard.
Yeah.
And that's going to deal with that or something. And then this girl is maybe she's not fit. Maybe she's not fit for it.
Maybe part of it is the headspace. Like, you get into this headspace of I'm feeling bad. And even if you don't externally show it, there's all this inner, like, stuff of I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling worse. I have this headache. Now I am feeling... I heard about these symptoms. Now I feel like my brain is... I mean, but I'm not sure because I met so many people. Man. I met so many people while I was traveling in Nepal too, who seemed to be getting altitude sickness, but were either just kind of pushing through it with knowing that they had altitude sickness already and just trying to make it over and make it down as fast as they could. There were a ton of people with altitude sickness there, which was kind of crazy to me. But
yeah, I mean, did you not experience it?
I was really lucky. So, unlucky and lucky, because I got this really bad stomach bug when I first started hiking. I had, like, horrible diarrhea. I was going up to Namche Bazaar. I was just like, I was hiking with this guy. Lewis was his name. He was, like, really chill. He was a really good hiker. I was just like, okay, Lewis, I'm just gonna pull off here. And I'm just, like, go behind this tree in the middle of the trail, just, like, dying. So I had like really high fever and stuff. So when I got to Namche Bazaar, I spent like 3 or 4 extra days there, which gave me a lot of time to acclimatize. I never had any problems after that because you're staying at 10,000 feet or 12,000 feet or something for a while. So that gives your body a ton of time to adjust if you get sick.
And you're already dealing with so much pain, being so sick that you're not really sure what. Maybe you just had altitude sickness and they gave you shits.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my God, yeah. I didn't have that, but yeah, the stomach sickness came back. Oh, I had it like 3 times. The last time was so bad. I was in this hostel in Pokhara, and I remember I was on the top bunk of this bed, and I just laid in the bed for pretty much 5 days straight. I would take ibuprofen whenever I wanted to sleep, because you shouldn't take too much ibuprofen, I guess, or it's bad for you. Yeah. But also my fever was so high, I was like, I need to be able to sleep. And sometimes I get up, try to walk, and I just remember like my vision kind of turning black. Okay, time to sit down again.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. That's a real thing, buddy.
Yeah, and I had this dream. Had this dream with this death came to me in a female, like, beautiful woman as like death incarnate, and we danced in this dream, and she was like, you're gonna come with me now. And I was like, nah, I'm not ready to come with you. And she was like, are you sure? Your life is only gonna head downhill from here. And then she left.
Holy. Wow. Did you tell anyone about that experience? That's
Yeah,
touching.
yeah.
That's
That's
a very visual psychedelic sickness experience.
kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so that was Nepal. Mostly the bad parts of Nepal. It was a great time. It was like one of the best summers of my life, but those are all the bad
Yeah,
parts.
fucking all them years ago. That's awesome. That's so well traveled, and that's
Yeah.
like that initial travel. That's like a big freaking crazy jump. That's like when the real learning happens, because I don't know, the other westernized countries, they're a little bit different, but
Yeah.
they're nothing like that. They're nothing like
Oh yeah, you go to Europe,
changing
it's
the way you live.
so similar to the U.S. Yeah.
But
You were like Spain,
not
France.
because of the language and
It's
how
true.
they roll.
That's
and
true. Yeah,
some
it is
sayings
different.
and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
totally different, but it's also not overly intensely like the total food bugs that we have in our stomach. Like our gut biome can't even handle what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's not enough poison on it, like in our Western society, how we
Yeah.
put a whole bunch of chemicals on our fruit to help them grow. But well traveled with mom, got
Yeah.
into a couple festivals, and then what about your breakdown after Croatia? Like you just went to a few festivals, man, in a row.
Yeah. That was probably
And-
yeah.
Hey, we were like I think we found some dope. Someone found dope on the ground, or at least I smoked it at a movie theater. Someone offered us to smoke that.
Yeah. Yeah, those
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah.
Went and watched.
Well, I think I was sitting with some old people, I think, for that that time. But
True.
I heard about
I
that
thought it
experience
was
afterwards.
the whole.
Though.
True. I heard the whole film, or sorry, I thought during the entire film it was going to be like an episode of Black Mirror. I just thought something fucked up was going to happen, and was I
Oh
right?
yeah, because
Like,
Tarantino, yeah.
yeah, and just being really stoned. I'm like, oh man, this is weird. We're just chilling. Like, where is something?
Yeah.
Like this little girl is gonna fuck DiCaprio up here, or what's gonna go on?
Yeah, the hippie girl who's like, "Hey guys,
Oh,
I had a trip and it told me to kill people."
yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And that freaked me out too, because I was also high, and I was thinking, oh my god, I do drugs. Like, I've had these ideas. Like, are drugs insanely bad for people? Am I a total murderer?
Are they gonna make me go on a murdering spree and kill Leonardo DiCaprio and
Dude.
Brad Pitt?
Because you're just thinking the efficiency of what it is for peace is like, these people are the problem, so they must die.
Yeah.
I need these people to die. It only makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I can't see it any
It's
other way.
The only way.
Oh god, one way thinking, but with psychedelics. But that's what you're trying to get rid of. We also had a little Molly watching Final
Yeah,
Space.
just recreationally.
Yeah, recreationally.
Wait, it's always. Did we call it no casual? That's what we called it, not because I was like, it's kind of. There have been other cases where I call it recreational, but I think it was casual was the word we used in this case.
Maybe you were working on stuff and I was working on True Glue Talks, and my god, did True Glue Talks ever used to take me a lot for editing, because I did all the fucking music with it. But now I ended up having some Molly last night.
Cool.
Casual, very casual, just like
Casual.
you were not in a setting that people would typically have it. Just like us, just doing a little bit of work and watching a little bit of internet. You do that too. So I think we were pretty quiet and just saying like, how do you feel? Yeah, definitely feeling it. Yeah, cool. Keep doing it. And then
Cool.
it's like, well, are we ready for a break? Let's watch some Final Space. And then me yesterday, and this is what my buddy said in the Czech Republic all the time. He said he never works so efficiently until he tries working with Molly or on some sort of amphetamine like that, because he just has so much passion and is so into everything he's doing, and all he's doing is like responding to people who have internet issues or like system issues.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just getting visual art done and just feeling great about it all. And there's no
Yeah.
second guessing if this is bad. And then
Oh yeah,
my
it's so
music as
nice
well.
to be able to have that. Oh yeah, because
I
that's
guess
such that is a thing that comes in so often when working. It's like, oh, I'm doing this thing, but is this? I find that so often. I'm just if I could just do the thing and employ it and not worry about if it works or not. You just
it's
create,
going to
create,
turn
create,
out
and then
as
after
good
you
as it'll
create,
be.
yeah, exactly. It's just like create as much as possible, and then in hindsight, go back and maybe kind of edit, like have two different selves, and kind of allow one one to just go, and they have to hold the other one back for a while, maybe. Yeah,
Just keep creating, and then you'll just nail it sometimes.
yeah.
And
Oh, for sure.
through time, no matter what, the skills are going to build, and
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera. So after the festivals, after Croatia, Dubrovnik,
yeah.
what kind of breakdown did you have?
So yeah, I was hanging out with this guy. We
This
went.
mathematician, distant, like you weren't broke, you got your paycheck, you were all right,
Yeah.
you're in Croatia.
I was
there wasn't
great.
any COVID happening.
Nope, no. It was beautiful. It was incredible. It was like the best time to be there. Super, super great temperature. Went cliff diving with this guy. We split some Molly. It was a great time. And then I went back. And then I went back to the hotel, and I was cooking myself some curry, as one does, And
As one should.
as one should. I was like really putting my love and my heart and soul into this curry. This guy comes up, and he's like, "Oh, it smells so good." And then he starts talking about how he didn't eat, and I was like, "Well, I have some extra curry. Do you want some curry?" He's, "Oh man, that'd be so sweet. Do you want anything?" I was like, probably fine. It's like, I'll get you some wine from the store if you want. I was like, I guess I haven't been drinking in a long time. I might as well just drink some wine with these guys. They seem pretty chill. So it was him and his four friends.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I got blackout drunk. The only thing I remember is like sitting on the bathroom floor of this hostel, throwing up into the toilet bowl, and there were people that were trying to get in.
Great, just great, man.
Yeah, so good.
learning experiences, and
So great, yeah. And all these strangers who don't know who I am, and they're having to take care of me now. And I feel, in hindsight, I was like, oh god. And then other people apparently had to clean up my vomit, which is a horrible thing that I did to people. I can't believe I did that. But I just woke up the following day, had these like very foggy memories of these things happening, and I felt horrid, both physically and also mentally. And then I like got over that, still in this kind of funky headspace. Went up on this wall. Then they'd have this Dubrovnik wall walk. So you're up on the wall. You can see the whole city, see the sea. It's really beautiful. And then there were all these tourists up there with me. I'm a tourist too, but like all these people.
Yeah.
I had my camera. I was taking pictures. All these other people next to me taking the exact same pictures. I'd stop. I'd take a picture. The person behind me would stop, take the exact same picture, looking out over, taking the. And I was just like, I went up to this window and I was looking out over these kids playing soccer, and I was just like, okay, I want to bring myself here. I want to like somehow get past this feeling of everything I'm doing is like constructing. It felt like I was just constructing this persona. Like the only reason why I was in this place was to construct this persona that was going to be publicly viewed on Instagram or something.
oh, dude,
Alongside all these other people who are doing the exact same thing, this constructing of this persona that is only viewed online. Yeah, that's just like, look at me. I'm doing these cool things.
I want to say for
Yeah.
that, it is true though, because some people won't do the things you'll do, and you are building it. You are there. Like, you could eat some of the piece of the wall if you want, if that'll make you feel connected enough. But you are actually there, having the physical evidence and having an Instagram page that shows you doing that too.
Yeah.
There are so many people in the world that do that as well, but not as many that don't do that. I think you're still being you're being proactive in building yourself, in doing just that, and like just more time spent and just doing that. If you continue that for the next 29 years, that'll be fucking nuts. That'll be insane. Yeah, and if you had pictures of it all too, holy crap.
I think I was
And
just
you just
in this.
create.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just in this place where I was finding myself. I felt like everything I had done it wasn't necessarily true, but I felt like in this moment, I thought everything I was doing in the moment and everything I'd done in that recent time was very surface level, and I was missing depth. I was missing this like meaning or whatever that I was looking for.
Connection.
Yeah,
Man,
exactly. Like legitimate.
There's learning steps, and we're how old we are, and we've done whatever amount of traveling we've done, and there's certainly a step between leaving your country and going to another place in a hostel. And then, oh God, the next level up is like getting bored of the experience of being in a hostel. I get it so much where people just want to get fucked up in a new country, in the hostel, stay there. They don't even look into what's going on around. They don't even know what events are going on. They don't even know what possible thing they could be missing because they're just maybe trying to bring home with them or trying to make themselves comfortable through an old ritual that us humans have. And there's booze in every goddamn planet and in all of our rituals in every place. Everyone's got this homemade something and they're always sharing it. And it's very human. And I don't feel bad about enjoying booze, but it gets...
But every night, if you do the same thing over and over again, okay, we're going to go clubbing in this place with new people, and it's really cool to see all these new people and meet them. But if every night it's the same process of getting fucked up, going to a club, coming back, crashing, sleeping in really late, waking up, feeling kind of hungover, drinking again, going out with people, getting really fucked up, coming back.
Oh man, we're first world problems, man. This is fucking amazing. That sounds amazing.
I know. It's so many people. It's incredible. Yeah, and I did it
to be able to do that.
I did it for a long time. I did it for a few months. I mean, when I was first traveling with a friend from college, we went for a whole it wasn't that long. It was only like 12 days, but 12 days in a row of that, and it was a great time. But I think especially after the festivals,
you age. Yeah. You get to the step, and then it's like, well, man, no. I simply use this place for somewhere to sleep, cheaper than a hotel, and I am going to be working on my fitness and learning about the agriculture in this area. Oh, goodness. And example, I met a girl talking to homeless people and looking into how they deal with homelessness in different areas to be able to bring that back to her country where they were suffering from a lot of homeless people. And she would walk around the streets and go to the volunteer at the food, the soup kitchens and stuff, and really get a grip on like what people are doing differently in places for their homeless people. This is how she was traveling. She would just go to hostel, like every once in a while. She would go to these places, record her information, to then come back to her home city to have all this info to apply it to the city, potentially make money from it. But also, every second night, third night, boogieing down, shaking down, getting down with Colin.
Oh yeah.
Not that I was seeing her or anything, but that was a cool. That was a great way to travel. That's really cool.
I dig that so much, and I think more so and more so now. I just like to specify really fast too, because although I had this mental breakdown, I think, and for me, this was not a thing that was good for my lifestyle. I'm not trying to attack anyone who does find value in this, and I think that it's all internal. There's so much internally motivated stuff that might appear exactly the same externally, and you'll never know the difference because a lot of actions.
What is everyone standing there for?
Exactly, yeah. Like everyone might be taking the pictures that I was taking because they had family at home who was like, hey, I really want to see your picture, and it's all coming from a place of love, of wanting to share with family and friends, and just caring about other people completely.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, but for me, it was not that, which was something that was worth recognizing. But I love that, like you're talking about your friend, like having these projects, and this is something I think more and more is having some sort of project or something that's like, okay, I'm going to this place, I want to either do this cool thing or learn this cool thing, or like serve in this way or something like that, and create something that is make something out of it. Like I don't know.
I love it when it takes me around the world too, because getting around the world just seems to be kind of great and kind of super educational and super creative flowing for understanding how different people even do something. Then you get a new idea of how you can do something, and it's just in your repertoire of
for sure
all that creation. like I felt that already in like high school with Facebook. In why am I even posting stuff? Why
Yeah.
am I? I'm still not back on Facebook. I don't know. I just promote. People want to be friends. They're gonna find out what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is the creating. I just want to create and promote that, and do the odd shout out of like, who's in the town? Can I talk to you? Or do you want to throw down?
Yeah, I mean, the tools are so useful for good things.
Is that selfish? Because in the spirit of it, I might not be on the device for people to do that too. We're all selfish, actually, in the end.
I think selfish isn't inherently bad, though, is the thing. Like, you can be, like, because communicate, like breathing, right? Like, just comparing it to, I like to compare everything to breathing, kind of, because you have to, say, comparing, like, breathing and inhaling, you're taking in things from around you, and then maybe, like, when you're exhaling, you're giving things back to the world. But you can't continue, you have to do both. You have to both take and also give. You can't just keep giving, and you can't continue taking, or else it's just not possible. You get full up.
Daniel, that is fucking awesome. That's a great thing to say.
Yeah. And
that's a cool way to think about it.
And also, just there are so many things that are like, this interaction, for instance, is selfish because I enjoy it, but hopefully you also enjoy it and your audience enjoys it, or it's good for other people too. So, I mean, avoiding things just because we find them pleasurable, I think is, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure us.
We're
if you're Buddhist,
I just stopped seeing. Yeah, I stopped seeing pleasure in Facebook, or seeing pleasure in people giving a shit about what I have to do or something, or didn't see value in the likes, or why am I taking? It was getting deep. Like, I'm doing things and going out to be able to take the picture. Like, I'm even launching myself from my bed to go to that place to get the picture. I have to make it to this place to post it on a thing, which is a creation of yourself and is an image, and usually a great one. Man, I keep seeing and I just messaged a new girl who was in my brother's house, and we're friends on Facebook, and God, that just, it's never going to end, is it? Where you add a Facebook friend, get another one, and then they kind of just pile up, and everyone just looks great in their Facebook photos, man. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, killing it.
Social comparison is definitely, I mean, I was doing this, when COVID first started, I was like, because I just got back from like traveling and stuff. I was sitting at home. I saw this class that was advertised by Yale, like Coursera online. It's called, I think, the Psychology of Wellbeing was the name of the course. And it was talking about all these scientific results behind how you can be happy, like gratitude and all these other like things that just sound so trite and so cliche when you say them, like practicing gratitude, being kind, like and what was just stuff like that. And I forgot where I was going with this train of thought. It was related to what you just said, and now I lost it.
Dang. Well, the depth of it to people, being kind and being grateful. Like, if you stop thinking about yourself and where yourself is at, but instead thinking of yourself and being happy where it's at. Yeah.
I still feel conflicted about this class too. I don't feel like completely, because part of me is like, well, I only get in the mindset of where I'm like seeking actively something like that if I'm not feeling perfectly content and happy in the first place. So I think there's a balance there for sure, but
it keeps it there though. I think it keeps it up there when you just, as long as you realize, like, you slept in a bed and you woke up, you got a light switch, it's got power, you got food, and your fridge isn't broken, and everything's just, those thoughts are the gratitude. I've already said 4 or 5, but people just roll through and they're, I don't even know what the hell. You wake up, what are you thinking? You're like, I want some ass. Roll over, Pornhub.com. Fuck
that is a way to live. That is a great way to. I think, I mean, attention, right? Like, attention is. Someone said this, and I liked it, so I'm gonna quote them. I don't remember who it was. Attention is a form of worship, in the sense that whatever we give our attention to, I mean, we have to give our attention to something, and that can either be something like gratitude or kindness or bettering the world in some way, or it can be, wow, things are such shit right now. I can't go outside without wearing a mask and feel like I'm not being selfish. I can't go and play with my friends outside and go get fucked up and club and stuff and travel. This sucks. I can't believe that this happened to me. This is horrible. Or, I can say, well, this is a situation, but I'm super lucky to be in a place like Colorado with mountains and my family and lots of I can play video games with friends online. Like, it's just a lot of fun. We can go raid some dungeons and cool games that I haven't checked out.
What video games are you playing?
Recently I got back into Civilization. Civ 5 was something I played in high school, and now I'm playing with some friends. There's this really cool open world RPG called Outward. It's kind of similar to World of Warcraft. Playing with a buddy.
Love it. I was so hooked to that game before. Love being a druid, love transforming into the different creatures as appropriate.
I love the exploration. I love having an open world, especially since we can't go outside right now. Having worlds.
True. How locked down are you? Where you are? Are you in the small town of 20,000 again? That shall not be named.
Yeah, Montrose, Colorado. Am I allowed to say that? Yes. Cool. That's Montrose, Colorado. It's small.
It's really locked down there with 20,000 people. Like, there's gaps in the street. Like, you can just go hike a mountain, can't you?
Yeah. So I mean, it's Western Colorado. A lot of people here don't necessarily think coronavirus exists. Sometimes I think, and are like not wearing masks and outside. A lot of people don't care at all.
I'm coughing on people. It's better that way.
Cool.
Keep the immune system up. Yeah. Just kidding.
I'm taking some precautions, but because it's like, I don't know, I can be happy with like wearing a mask if I go to Walmart and feel like I'm at least not, if there is a problem, at least I feel like I'm not doing something. Yeah.
Or like,
but yeah, we can get out really easily, which is cool. Like, go fishing, go hiking, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Are you actually coughing on people? Do you go out and just like stop people in the street and cough on them?
Hell no. I don't cough ever out of my elbow. Ever. That's stupid to ever like get that. I am a phlegmy boy though, which is unfortunate. So that's a little bit nasty these days. Everyone's just more caught up in how things. Any health things, anything that could be any two people doing anything. I just touched the common door to get into this apartment. Haven't been in an apartment since. Ew, what the fuck? How many people could have touched this?
Well, it's one of those things too. It's such a slippery slope. Like it's good to care, but if I start caring too much, then I'll get paranoid about germs that are going to come and take over the world and kill everyone.
You can't live your life.
Yeah,
it's crazy though. Some people have died. I thought about it again running through a field today. I just thought, some people have actually died. Some people do have some right to be afraid. I'm really casual and chill about things right now. Yeah.
I know like 4 or 5 people that have gotten it. So just like talking to them, it always reminds me, I'm like, oh wait, this feels more real when I talk to you guys. But yeah. What were you going to ask?
I never met a single person with it.
Damn.
Don't know anyone and any of their friends who have it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just glad Grandma and Grandpa don't.
Oh, yeah. Same. Yeah. What were you going to ask? You said, hey?
Yeah, I wanted to say, with digital nomad life, was there any like downsides, or is it something that everyone should strive for, or is it something that you like to do? How did you fall into your position?
Cool. Yeah, so I was senior year of college, going through the grind, not really sure what I wanted to do with my life. Part of me was like, maybe grad school after, that seems kind of cool. Part of me was like, maybe I'll sell out, go to SSF.
Grad school, is it after?
Yeah, after bachelor's.
4 or 5 years, something like that?
Yeah, so I would have gotten my bachelor's and then applied to grad schools, taken some standardized tests, gone for another 5-6 years, probably be more entrenched in the system, feel the
Holy
need to
shit.
get an adjunct position and then try to get tenured, and then I'm 45 and have what I wanted in life. Yeah. So that was an idea. But instead, so I had this friend that called me. I think the day before, I'd had this like really intense trip, which is kind of crazy. It was just like, because things had been, I was just like in this headspace of very like, what am I doing with my life? And then this friend called me out of the blue the day after and was like, hey, I have this job.
Yes.
Do you want it?
Thank you, friend.
Yeah. And Kevin, who's a cool guy, he graduated a year before me.
Yeah.
Worked for this. He actually
Thanks, Kevin.
Doing something different. He's doing a journalism job now, but he called about this job with a company called NRECA, which does kind of electrical engineering / software development. He was like, it's a pretty cool job, chill, you can work remotely, boss is really cool guy, do you want me to try to get you an interview? I was like, sure. So start working part-time.
What made you qualified, or what made him know that you could get that job? How do I get that job?
Yeah, so we were at school together. He was a physics major for a while, and then took one computer science course, and then became a music major. 2 years in, part of the way through. Graduated. Really wanted to do journalism.
Relatable.
Landed this job.
Love him.
Yeah, just found this job online, applied for it, got it. I took like 3 computer science courses, 2 of which were helped in the position, and did math, I guess, which is good on a resume to get a technical STEMy job. So, yeah, but just got an interview, got hired, started working part-time while I was still at school, graduated. I was like, can I keep working remotely? And he said, sure. So, he's been doing it ever since.
Any downsides, man? Too much time sitting down? Health issues?
No. So, I mean, it depends on, I think everyone's different, obviously, and what they want and what leads to a productive life that feels well-lived. There are some people who I think really love interacting with people, and relationships is like a really important thing to them. I think that if that's the case, it'd be good to have a partner or friends or something that have a similar gig that you can travel with, because that's the one downside is it can get lonely sometimes, just going from place to place. You can meet people everywhere and really connect with them. Like we connected really easily in Croatia, but it is a little bit lonely sometimes.
But that goes with every kind of traveling, because it's all about what you want to do. If you want to grab a girl or follow one, you can do that because you bring your computer and there's Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's ultimate freedom, which is really cool.
Only lonely.
Great life for me.
You want to be lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great life for me. I have no
uh,
complaints. I'm going to keep doing it indefinitely. Yeah.
Awesome. I had someone just railed into me in Ho Chi Minh City, walking up and down the busiest street. I love just walking up and down that street. It's insane. So much energy. Or the busiest party street. It's the loudest fucking place. You need earplugs like walking down the street. It's just like competing noise, and it's just so intense. And if you can score some drugs down there, that'd be cool. But it's mostly just nangs and booze, and people just splurging money and acting cool. I actually got a set down there, and being a white guy, I got a lot of pictures getting taken of me. They're like, look at this guy DJing here. Anyway.
Cool.
This guy, I don't even know what the heck. He just knew that I spoke English, said something. We just went walking. We walked up and down this street over and over, and he's like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, well, yeah, love sometime. And then he's like, well, have you ever invited anyone with you? Because there's like 1 million girls in the world that would love to be doing what you're doing. They just need the invitation. And I'm like, oh, shit. Bugger. Like, I never just thought to, I don't know, just invite someone along the way. I've always
that's true with so many things. I think I feel like we all kind of feel these weird insecurities, and we're like, oh, I feel weird about this thing, and I kind of want this, but also, do you want this? I'm not sure, and I don't want to be weird. I don't want to be like that weird pervert that's like sitting at the back of the.
Yeah,
we all know that one guy who just stares and just like just really like. I was just like imagining. I always have these like, just like, I imagine myself as that guy, and I'm like, oh no, I can't. People can't perceive me that way. But then I think there's so many insecurities that we all feel that sometimes it's just, well, if it requires someone to kind of overcome that barrier and just be like, okay, I don't care to some extent. Obviously, I don't want to hurt you as much as I can. But the invitation's here, and I don't care what you think, but it's here.
Yeah, something happens that it becomes more important to deliver that invitation more than your own discomfort. Or maybe you're just comfortable enough moving. And I'm talking from me, myself.
Yeah.
Learning words as I'm saying them, and learning about myself as I'm saying them. And, well, one of the things lately, and I just talked to this girl here about it, it never really came to me, but I'm like, there's an idea of going for a bike trip down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And that amount of energy is a lot. You got to pedal lots, and it's lots of days, and it'd be fucking incredible. You'd learn a lot. You'd see a lot of people. Lots of beers would be had. Lots to talk about. I'd probably be doing the podcasting on the road. And awesome. But then I'm like, well, if I want like a future with someone, I got to shape this. And I'm like, what if we didn't go for a bike trip and we just had kids, and we were like, you're excited about that.
Yeah.
Or try to have a kid. You're excited about that, and I'm kind of excited about that. It's like, just like the bike trip, you don't have, it's not all set in stone. You don't know what the hell is going to happen. You don't know. It's just an idea of how it can be and what it could be. And it's kind of like, if you can put that excitement and that energy within the next 8 months of you planning a bike trip, getting yourself ready for it, doing it, being on it with someone, then why don't you just do that and talk about having a child and getting like just things you would imagine, things you would want to set up. Starts fucking without a condom. Okay, things are kind of expected to be at a certain time. What are your values here? It's just all work, but in a different way. And then you're excited. I think it might be the best way to have a child, because if you're both excited about it, when it comes to the world, you're both there excited or working on it. Or maybe you'll just get anxious as fuck because you'll be like, man, am I going to be good enough? create.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't think about it too much, man.
I know. Because you start worrying, then you're like, then I'm like, wait, if I have a kid, will I be ready? 18 years of potentially raising them. Like, am I gonna burn out like halfway through and just like, I'm done being a parent. Just go, go off. Like, am I gonna feel?
I don't think I could ever do that. It got handed down to me from my dad, just the non-abandonment thing. I think it fucked up my parents' relationship in a lot of ways. Like, they kind of stayed together just for us, and maybe, I don't know, they could say it better, but in the spirit of not abandoning the kids, and that's the only thing that matters, potentially they didn't put enough work in themselves and caused a lot of drama. And
it is one of those new experiences, though, that like, you can't, at least I don't think it's possible for me to fathom what it would actually be like until doing it. It's like, if you're going cliff diving for the first time, or climbing a mountain for the first time, or going to a music festival for the first time, obviously there can be all these concerns of, what if I hit my head on the rocks of the cliff jumping down and die, or what if I like slip on the snow and die, or what if I like overdose on something and die. It's but if you live in that mentality all the time, you're never going to do anything. If there's this fear of
absolutely the fear. And then those are the people who aren't on that cliff taking that photo on the wall, and you're the one who's actually there, realizing. But then you take it a step further. You're just
so many
freaking out.
The fear is not cannot be helpful in some situations. I think, like, becoming completely without fear. I don't know. I think fear is a very powerful motivator if used in the right way, or if like taken in the right way. Or sometimes also the reason why I do things is because of fear. Like, I was initially terrified of things like cliff diving before I went the first time, and like climbing a mountain. But then you do it and you're like, wait, I conquered this, and now I feel like it's not as bad as I thought. And
There's
it's really
things
cool.
that are scary. Why are they scary? Did they end up scary because everyone was telling us that all the bad things that can happen? Or where did it sink into us that we are scared of these things? It's like everyone just being like, oh, you can't, no, you wouldn't want to do it with that. No way. Like,
and what fear is justifiable and what fear is just kind of there, that's just there and has no reason for it being there, but we still just have it, and we rationalize it to ourselves without.
What do you mean justifiable? Reason. Like, okay, so I'm afraid of heights, and it's like the why. Is that the justifiable?
Well,
like,
I guess
why? Where can you confirm?
Biologically, fear. The purpose of fear is to keep us alive. If we want to say that the goal is to stay alive, maybe that doesn't need to be the goal because we're all going to die eventually. If we want to take it that far, but
saw people die in my past life, and that's where the fear of heights comes from. Because if I died, I wouldn't be able to pass that on. Yeah. So maybe it's been people dying from heights that I've seen. Because I certainly, I don't even think I've had too much pain from heights.
When I see someone, or I guess not see in person, but talk to someone who says that they went base jumping, which I think is really cool, and I might be interested in trying someday. But they're like, I got to Lauterbrunnen the day before, and I was going to go base jumping, and I was there at the base. This guy wanted me to come watch him, and his parachute failed, and he splattered all over the ground. Just hearing stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, nice. Cool. Like, I think that fear is... having fear that encourages you to pack your parachute right, and it serves the purpose of allowing you to live longer and have more cool experiences before eventually dying, I guess, at the most, at one level, if nothing else. Oh my goodness. Justifiable in the sense of...
I wonder if that's a good way to go or not.
Probably pretty quick.
Don't know. Yeah.
It's quicker than like getting old and being in a nursing home for 5 years. And
I'm sometimes scared of that lately.
Yeah.
Like, if I just send it pretty hard while I'm young, like, then I can go, unfortunately for the homies. But or just keep really pushing to be like one of those cool old people that just, hey, my boss in Australia, like 70 years old, unloading a truck. We're working on a construction yard. He's unloading the truck too. The guy in the cab's like, oh man, I'm too old for that. He's like 45. And my boss is like, dude, I'm 25 years older than you. You're not too old. Like, it's just your mindset.
I love, one of my favorite things is when I'm like hiking or climbing a mountain or something, and there's this person who's 75 or 80 that catches up to me. It's just like going, and they're like, yeah, I just climbed another 2 mountains this week, and this is what I love. It's just like, those people are such huge inspirations, I think. Seeing them do what they love and not let age slow them down. And I'm sure like their bodies there's so much more stuff mentally for them to deal with, like even just seeing their friends stop doing stuff, if it's all mindset, and just still being able to push through and say, this is what I love, this is what I want to do, and I can do it, I think is really cool.
It's tricky to come like... And then how do we, because we're young and we can slack right now, or is that the healthy way to go? Or is it like we have to work super hard right now and then our bodies will be equipped to be ready for that? Or maybe they were the office people.
Yeah, maybe they were the people who kind of just laid back and everyone else like died off because they pushed themselves too hard. And then these guys are like, now it's my time to shine with all this excess energy I saved up over all the years. Yeah.
And maybe the hiking reminds them of their dead friends who died on the hills.
Yeah, maybe.
Aww. Hey, so I taught you breathing exercises way back in the day. You using that tool or experienced any other meditative practices?
Yeah, so I got really into meditation and Wim Hof stuff again, especially when COVID started. I was like, okay, what a better time to do it. When I was first in lockdown, I was in India, and for like 3 weeks, just kind of stuck in one location, very uncertain of whether or not I could go outside without getting stopped by police and maybe beaten or something based on stuff I was seeing.
Unsure.
So I was just kind of staying in my apartment. But I found this app called with Wim Hof exercises. I think, let me see what the app's name is really quick. It is called just WHM Wim Hof Method. It's a cool app.
Yeah, WHM, Wim Hof method.
Yeah, it looks like...
boy. Gang. Shout out.
Oh, you cannot see it because my phone is outer space, but yeah, if you
That's
search
a
for it
space
on the thing, yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, so I started breathing along with Wim on that, which is cool. And then started doing cold showers as well, which evolved over time into now doing polar plunges in ice lakes when I hike up to them, glacier lakes.
Yes.
Which is really cool, yeah.
It's a goddamn drug. It's a goddamn experience. It's
yeah,
a
you
fire
do it once and you're like...
It's good for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you start staying in longer and longer, and you're like, wow, before I got in and my arms and legs were on fire and I felt I needed to get out. And now I can just get in, and it's like, I know it's cold, but I can just kind of stay in there for a minute or so and swim around a little bit.
Mental strength.
Yeah.
Between the subconscious and conscious mind, you're like more in tough to pain and understanding towards it. Pain being like your sensory overload and your senses. It's just, they're just freckles on the edge of your body that tell you that something is what it is. Either it's burning your skin or it's very cold and freezing it. And you can think through that shit as opposed to letting it dominate you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And slow exposure too is really good because over time, I mean, you can also just jump in and force yourself to stay in. but I think too, one thing I've recognized is like, I started just taking a 15-second cold shower, like at the end of my hot shower, which is what they were recommended on the app, what Wim recommended. And it was like, okay, that was kind of hard for me at first. Just like the anticipation of the cold was so great. But then over time, it's like, okay, now 26, now 30. And now I just get in it. And it's just something I do. I feel no fear at all for that. No sense of anticipation. Man. And it's just
I've been doing cold showers for like 9 years.
Yeah.
I'm so... And not only at the end, though. And then I realized, like, there's a level of going in at the start and being in. And just...
I haven't done that yet. I'm not to that point yet.
Now I just do it. Hey, every water's colder. This water, not that cold. It's actually crappy when it's not that cold.
Oh, yeah, that's
true. There's stages. And I want to say the biggest breakthrough and what, like... So I catch these highs, and I'm a high chaser. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Maybe whatever human.
That is my entire life.
The cold water in the shower, and I sat there and I did a breathing exercise, and I sat there, and suddenly the water went hot, and I teleported or like astral projected under all these waterfalls in Vietnam, Australia, Canada, and I made it. I whoop in the shower. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, in Croatia.
I had a freaking breakthrough, and that was that moment, and from then, I've noticed that, like, you can find heat within yourself. And one other breakthrough that you got to get through, and it's really hard, is so you can have a cold shower. Turn it straight cold. And this happens in Slovenia, Ireland, Canada, probably potentially where you are in Colorado. When you have it straight cold, your brain starts to freeze. You get that horrible brain freeze feeling. Yeah. And it's like the skull... coldness touching your brain, and it hurts so much. Especially
when you put your head, like your forehead, directly right under the water. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
I had that at first when I started. I was like, I want to get my whole body. I want to like make sure I keep turning so I can get my whole body exposed as much as possible. But then I get to my head and it'd be like, oh, brain freeze. I can't sit here for a long time. But over time, that also goes away.
Can go, yeah. I didn't know that. You said, I practiced, I just did it today, too. Like, you just, and it's, I used to do it to push myself and learn how far I could push. Now it's just kind of, I'm just chilling and doing these kind of good things. Eating vegetables, doing it, like, every once in a while. Honestly, every 2 or 3 days, if I don't breathe, I feel less good. So... I just know to breathe. And then if I don't have a cold shower, I just feel less good than if I do. If I do the cold shower, yoga, breathing, exercise, vegetables, and love making, that is a perfect day for me. And if you do that every day, you'll feel really, really good.
That's so true. And sometimes when you're not doing that stuff, it feels like, well, I'm doing other things that are valuable. Like if I'm being really productive or something, it's like, well, I should be productive, so it feels good. And like getting out of that headspace of I need to just, well, I don't have time to breathe. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to exercise, make love, eat vegetables. Like it's quicker to eat other stuff. I really crave this cookie right now. Like getting out of that mindset, I think, is one of the hardest things. But then once like I find in my life, once I start taking small steps, sometimes it's like a trampoline. You start jumping a little bit higher, and you can use the momentum from each jump to propel you a little bit farther. It's kind of cool.
I think it is like you'll get down some rabbit holes too. Working hard and thinking that that's what you need, and then your body gets upset at you and you start feeling anxious or feeling broken, and then you're like, oh, I forgot to do this other thing that I needed to do. Or and there's going to be some shifts.
Breathing too is something that's really cool, I think.
Changed my life.
Yeah, again, Wim Hof breathing, which your listeners definitely know what that is at this point. I'm sure, right?
Hopefully,
explained it lots.
By this time, I'm trying to tag them enough. Like,
but I started setting goals for myself when I was doing it. I was like, I really want to hold my breath for 5 minutes. I want to make that a goal for myself, which, depending on how you look at it, it's like that can be, I think there's some idea of like, oh, don't try to force it or whatever, but I like that idea of like, there's a goal, it's kind of play, there's no like, I don't have to make it very far, but I just started writing down my times, and I was like, oh, maybe I was slightly less for these 2 days, but then, oh, no, I'm back up to like 4 minutes again. And I got up to, my record is 4 minutes and 45 seconds, which is not quite 5 minutes, but like, it's crazy because when I started, I was doing 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And it's a lot of that is like what you're talking about, just kind of pushing through slightly, just a little bit farther every time. And then it's like, oh, I was here before. I know I can handle that because I was here last time. So why not just go 10 more seconds? And then it's easy to go 10 more seconds after that. And
10 more seconds. Oh, man, that's wild. You're like your eyes open, consciously thinking about breath holding and stuff. Because for me, what I was guiding people after Croatia and into Slovakia in a hostel for a couple months, and really guiding people through like what helps relax and get into the meditation and make breath holding easy is nothingness. And the nothingness is a trance where you don't even know what time it is. Like when you consciously think about time or doing something, you are thinking about what you're doing, and you are focused in the spirit of the longevity and the meditation and feeling absolute calmness. Do not hold your breath, but I say like let go of everything and channel your feeling on the inside, and like even observe your heart rate and try to slow it, and then like your timer's on your iPod.
Well,
we all know what's going on.
It's one thing I've loved about the Wim Hof Method app on my phone is like Wim says all that stuff as he's guiding you, but then also there's the timer. So it's like in the moment you can just kind of try to follow his advice and say, yes, I'm slowing down my heart. I'm focusing on the sensations, all the tingling, all the just like focusing on that part of my brain that's normally not activated. But then at the same time, there's this timer that after the fact, after coming back out of the rabbit hole, you can be like, okay, cool, this is the thing.
It's amazing. I catch a lot of energy from him, and like it teleported into me, and I say a lot of words like him, but I never got down with listening to him breathe. I thought it was too fast. I'm a little bit slower and a little bit longer of the breaths.
It is fast, and it is kind of weird because it's like very consistent timing, and sometimes it's fun to play around with it a little bit more and kind of just like feel. Feel what your body wants.
We were doing that a lot. And I was getting into that a little more instead of the ritual of it, but it is good to push yourself, and going fast is getting a lot more oxygen exchange and is a meditation, and it's hard, and it's like good to do the hard things once in a while because you realize like if you can do that, you can do the other hard things. Like
there's this TED Talk. There's this TED Talk online of this guy who held his breath for 16 minutes, I think. He held the world record at some point in the relative recent past.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, just him talking about his training process too, where he would do something similar, much more like he focused on breathing out though. So like where Wim encourages you to go and then kind of just like let out gently. This guy was like hyperventilating, so he would do that for a minute straight, and then he'd hold his breath for 5 minutes, and then he'd do it for a minute straight, and then hold his breath for 5 minutes, and he'd do that for an hour every day while he was training for the world record. which is really
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Holy jumpins. Yeah, man, do anything every day.
Yeah.
COVID gave me the ability to touch my feet. I was doing yoga every day. Now
Oh
I
yeah,
can,
yeah. Stretching is
now I
so cool.
can touch my legs. It's just, yeah, balances you out. So it's if you want to be able to use your body and the muscles in it and not feel like pain with it and feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know, more clean, efficient, energy running body, if you just stretch it out,
Oh
equal
yeah.
it out, fix the knots, it works so much better for me.
Oh, same. Yeah, I pulled a muscle in my I think it was my ACL up outer leg thing. Uh,
Mm,
right before I think last spring, like last March or April, and that stuck with me throughout up until like July or August. I felt it after after we were in Croatia. It came back a bit when I was in Albania hiking, and I met this physical therapist from Chile who taught me these 3 stretches to do, and I've done them. I tried to do them at least 3 times a week, and I haven't had any problems ever since then. Even with continuing to hike and stuff, which has been
yes.
stretching so
People,
good.
man, so valuable, these people on the planet.
Oh, for
The
sure.
person
Yeah.
I'm staying with right now is learning Chinese medicine, and it's so badass. The spirit of it, and I say spirit because it's all about flow, energy, and chi, and hitting nerve points. And like, I apologize to people if I don't know what it's about, but in the spirit of it, I believe she was describing that when you have a patient, you talk to them and you live with them, listen to them in the moment, but you don't subjugate or like categorize anything. You could have had 8 people come in with the same thing because there's this thing going on, but every single person, you actually just like listen and be with them in the moment and feel their body. She
Yeah.
describes that the body works like rivers and everyone's is shaped a bit different, and like there should be just even energy flows, and she'll just start at a point and follow it down, and she'll then hit a rock in the river, and she'll be
Huh.
like, well, that's a rock, that's not the issue yet, we will examine everything, but that is something just noticed, not going to judge this human. Oh,
Yeah.
there's that rock that those other 8 people had. Noticed, not categorizing, just flowing with what is happening and
Sounds
going
like
to
a
recommend
way of
how to help the
meditating
flow.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Sounds almost like
she,
just like that noting and not trying to suspend judgment as much as possible, but just kind of like saying this is a thing that exists. Noted.
it was wild.
Yeah.
She tried to do like a little session on me, and it was like meditating because I was trying to be analytical or using a lot of words to describe why something might be something some way. She's like, no, stop, Colin. All I'm saying is let me know when you feel something. Tell and describe the feeling. And that was it. So then she's feeling
Yeah.
my passageways. I have a bit of issues on the left side of my body right now. And then I just say, this feels like there's a rock that you're pushing into the corner of my foot. It feels like you're pushing, and that could be described as like a knot that someone's just, I just feeling. And then she's like, like she already feels it, and she just
Yeah.
hears me, and it kind of just helps the whole situation. It's not saying like that is from how I run and I use my right foot more. You can't
Yeah.
say that. That could be wrong. You don't know. Feel everywhere, and then like decide through like experience sort of, but your body is different from everyone else's. Like maybe you need to run that way to be okay, and what's actually doing it is like you're just having some problems with your kidneys actually.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because there's thoughts of that in this Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and this energy flow thing, where this is just a hot spot on the outside of your body that identifies that this is your kidney, this is your kidney, this is your
Yeah.
stomach. So this is what's, there's some things going on. And this is why, and it was amazing. And I love that
That's
idea
really
too.
useful, especially I think like having that attitude in a time like this with like COVID. Like, I remember when it first, slightly less so now, but when I first heard about it and was thinking about it a lot, I had like a slight sore throat one day, and it was so easy for me to start thinking, do I have coronavirus? Is a sore throat a symptom of coronavirus? If I'm going to Walmart today,
it totally is,
to buy something, and I have a sore throat. If I have coronavirus, I am potentially exposing 50 to 100 people to coronavirus now. And it's just like, it's so easy then to start, once you like get into that thought, it's easy to start kind of just looping and stay there and not, yeah.
Anxiety and like the rumors and like being a good Samaritan and things like that. Yeah. How do we not though? Like, we're uneducated. We don't fucking know.
No, just have to trust someone.
The Chinese medicine girl or anyone like that too probably felt the same shit. Like, they don't exactly know. They're just feeling themselves. And then what they would then do is just, I think, try to self-help, try to keep self-loving and keep remembering how their body works and what helps them with a sore throat and what differences have been in their life. Could have just come from stress, could have been from talking online so much, could have been from sitting around and drinking nothing but Pepsi and not water, to then just have a dry throat, and then it causes a little bit of tickling and infection. Then you're like, motherfucker, I got coronavirus.
Not again. For the third time.
Oh God, it's now for sure. I got it now for sure.
This is the time. The other times we're not, but this time is real.
I was running by the high school, and it said, congratulations, grad 2020. And I'm like, yeah, people graduating this year? This is a
so crazy.
Loose time.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like.
Just
pretty crazy.
They're out of school, sort of. They did it online.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool
When it first started, I think I saw in Japan, they had it. This was so funny. They had like these like robots that were dressed in gowns. And for some reason, like, all the teachers were there and there were some other people there. So it wasn't like people were staying away from each other, but there was a screen and there was the student's face on the screen, and they'd hand the robot the diploma, and the teacher would like stand there with the robot, shake their hand, they'd take a photo with the robot and the incredible.
That is unique.
Yeah.
Robots, man.
Oh yeah.
Japan loves their robots. But
so
also
crazy.
They have like hired women to just go like touch guys in like, or just hang out with guys, not even in sexual ways, because they don't get enough like human contact because a lot of working issues.
Dang.
Which there's a thing. Maybe a little too much robot action.
That is a thing. That is a thing.
I might have seen on a video as well. Like, I think some people are married to robots legally as well.
Oh, I think I saw something like that too. There was a guy who was dating a girl that was just in like a game, like a phone app game. And he was like, she gives me all the emotional support I need. And it's like, well, what is a relationship for? I guess if he feels satisfied with that, then cool. But I can't fathom it. But like,
because
cool.
He gets everything he needs from her, maybe. Which is kind
He's
of
like, she's always there,
emotional support and always listening, and God, I know someone who like
always asked him how his day was.
He used to like date his car too, just in some. Remember TV? I think we used to watch TV with commercials, and there were all these channels, and I think I was watching Hoarders. Yeah.
Yeah.
and phone booths.
Oh, I love that. I love those shows. Yeah, where the whole house is like filled with stuff that they've just gone in.
Dude, Hoarders. And but this guy, or like Strange Ways to Die or something, but this guy was like sleeping with his car, and that was his thing.
And he died from that?
Emotional I don't. Everyone's gonna die someday. There's only
Everyone
one way
is
to
gonna
go,
die
right?
someday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool. It'd be
Best
cool
way
to
to go.
die in like a weird, exciting way that people talk about for a long time, rather than just like.
I guess.
Yeah. Why
the
not?
Thing is, you don't get to hear about it.
That's true. That's true. But you can
or
like.
If we all died in weird, exciting ways.
In that moment right before
and that
death,
was the way.
it's just like, wow. At least the best thing about this is people are gonna like get a kick out of this. Like, it'd be nice to be able to think that as you're dying. Just like, it's like, yeah, I'm skydiving onto the Empire State Building. People are gonna talk about this for a long time.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Well, people thought they'd talk about who built the pyramids, and now we don't fucking know at all. Like, we don't know who that guy in the pyramid that they built it for is.
Yeah.
Oh,
the aliens.
God. The infiniteness of the lives.
Oh, yeah.
What does it all mean? What are we doing?
What does it mean? Yeah.
Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that as you do self-love and meditation and maybe check yourself more, that you hit a level of feeling good that now that you know how good life can feel, you don't want to drop below that? You ever get into that issue? Like, I wish I was just gaming and eating Doritos and like having gummy bears, and I guess it was easier back then because maybe it's still fun.
Yeah.
But then you get bored of the games or something, and the Doritos, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that thing of like, I'm doing this good behavior now, and so if I let it slide for a day, I'm gonna feel, even if I shouldn't feel any worse, there's a part of me that's like, come on, dude, you like committed to this. Normally it's more like, you little bitch, what the fuck are you saying? Like, that's really that's not what the voice actually sounds like. Not understandable, but like this voice that's just
you're
like,
you're just a little piece of shit.
Brutal. Yeah, it's like, come on, you piece of shit. Do you remember how fucked up you were before? Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, get over there and meditate. Get over there and breathe. Like, do the stuff that you said you were going to do that's good for you. Like, there is a lot of that, I think. I notice that in myself sometimes, and saying things like if, I think that when I first played a video game again with a friend, there was that thought of like, come on, you were past this. You grew up, Video games are something that you do if you're a kid, if you like are a fuck up, if your life sucks, if you're living in your parents' basement, there's like that. And now I'm like at home with my parents, so there's kind of this weird, but like just this idea of like, if you're doing this behavior, it is bad. But I think also this idea of good and bad is something that I'm trying to, like, I think habits are good, and having good habits make me feel good. And I know I feel good if I go out and hike. If I go out and hike 2 or 3 times a week, I feel definitively better both while I'm hiking and when I'm not hiking. So that's a behavior that
Doritos
is
and
easy
hiking.
to like let be habitual. But yeah, I think overthinking is such a big problem I deal with too. Like trying so hard to not obsess that you obsess about not obsessing too. It's just levels upon levels.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the heck motivates me to do a breathing exercise or run. It's just, I woke up today and I knew that I'm like, I'm running, and I'm running farther than I usually would, but I didn't end up actually. I was like, holy shit, I'm out of shape.
Yeah.
But I ended up fucking feeling amazing because I just pushed it to some sort of level, like got the body moving.
Sure, yeah. Doing something is always so much better. It's infinitely better than doing nothing. Like even if I'm like, okay, I feel really lazy, I'm just gonna go on YouTube, find a 20-minute HIIT workout or 20-minute ab workout, and I'm doing it with like recent mothers on YouTube. It's like, I found this workout once that was an ab workout for women who had just given birth, and I was like, that's about what I'm feeling right now today. And I did it, and I felt incredible. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is so much better than if I had just kept watching YouTube and not done this thing.
You know what's amazing about that, man? If you got like, if one of your homies ends up like having a baby, or like your future partner or something, you'll have that. You'll know. You'll be like, exactly. Oh, I did this ab workout actually. I totally know. And it's like, wow, he's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He knows so much. World traveler.
Crazy, yeah. The things you learn while you're traveling the world.
Can we fucking store all this information though? Like, we do see it, and it is subliminally in us, and like everything that happens around us does happen to us, and it is us. But can we freaking remember that information when we need it?
I think there's so much thought. I mean, okay. We've both gotten really into Duncan Trussell recently, I think, based on what I've heard from you and what Midnight Gospel was like hands down most like thought-provoking thing I have seen in the past.
Oh man, you make me want to watch it.
like
Now.
long. Yeah, it's so crazy. I've rewatched most of the episodes. I rewatched the one with his mother, with my mom, and listened to his podcast
Oh,
with my mom too,
for
which is such a
sure.
crazy
For
experiment.
sure. Yeah.
But like also, so she was going to the dentist. She took me just to a park next to her dentist's office. We were just in the car listening to the podcast. And then I was just like in the park, having listened to this, really in the hot headspace of like kind of thinking about death and just like internalizing that idea of being present, all the stuff that his mom talks about. Super insightful woman.
Oh yeah, like
It's crazy energy. Yeah. But
I look up to Duncan Trussell a lot. Like,
Yeah.
or he makes me feel comfortable because
Yeah.
I think a lot like he does. Or I just feel like which people might get from me sometimes, or what I feel some people get from me is when
Yeah.
I just go on some sort of rant, or I come to dive into my emotions to give someone an emotional response to something. It's like when he does it, he just makes so much sense in responding to the people he talks to that I feel like I'm him. Like he feels like me, but 20 years older. And
yeah, because he's this
amazing.
creator, also doing podcasts, and
Yeah.
I was thinking of you too when I started listening to him. I think something else I love about him is he's unapologetically himself all the time. Like, and he's always there. Whoever he's talking to, he's always like very involved in the conversations. It seems like, and he's like there to learn, and just such a cool energy about him. I think such a cool guy.
Got a righteous way. And
Yeah.
someone said, even like people were recommending him to me, and I didn't even know that they were all so right until I was listening. And then what they said is his religion is well said, or he is solid about his religion, is what they told me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this guy, Duncan Trussell Family Hour, it's just going to be fucked up. Like, I'm going to turn into some cult guy. Like,
when I hear the word religion,
like all these idiots.
Yeah, when I heard the word religion, it's an instant like. I think we had an experience in Croatia too. I remember. I think I heard you say something like bonding, and I said that, and you were like bonding, and we had this moment that was just kind of like, because I also kind of feel that way about that word, and religion is another word that I feel that way about. I hear the word religion, I'm just like, yeah, like you were saying, culty, like not.
What was the thing about bonding?
I think it was like cooking.
Just the word of bonding, like it is like it was an effort towards something we were doing because we needed it, would potentially make me feel uncomfortable. Like
also connotations
guy, like,
for me
that are
like
like I might be leaving.
Either that or like the Blood Brothers thing where like you like just like, or like the movie where you commit to killing people because you had a trip that said you need to kill people with your blood brother. Anyway.
One thing, you're like having a great psychedelic trip in a really cool room with great speakers and great incense and like nice wavy tapestries and like everything's really cool. The next minute you're like totally Blood Brothers and like going to kill all the people who need to die because he thinks it. Jesus.
And even in that moment, you're probably like still just chilling, having a great time. It's only after you actually kill people that you're like, maybe that was a bad idea. Do you think that might have been a bad idea?
Oh, fuck. Oh, the blood on your hands from other people.
People are saying that was a bad idea. Do you think that maybe that was a bad idea?
That last episode of Duncan Trussell, though.
Yeah. Oh, so crazy.
Whirlwind. It reminds me like, oh, God. Like the whole time he's talking to his mom and being sad about his mom dying, it's actually a story about him dying and his fear towards his own death because he loves his mom. And then they both die to then become a part of the whole universe, and then the whole universe dissipates into
a black hole. Yeah.
The fucking idea, like the black hole, and like that's the final. That's like, okay, these people are now gonna die, and that's like it's the triggering fear that we all have, and we all experience, and we all are scared of, or we all don't want. Yeah. Because what the hell is it? And you kind of then just dive into that. But then he just goes on some roller coaster ride with all the other homies to the next stop.
Oh, that's true. The bus, and he sits down next to the guy, and he's like, "Can I interview you?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Just be here now." Or is that it? Is that what he says? Be here now.
I am here, man.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what the hell to do next.
after the interview.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll be editing it. That's super solid. I know that.
It's nice to have purpose sometimes. To feel like, wow, I have something to do, and it feels rewarding to me, and it's
gotta give yourself that purpose. Gotta give yourself. Fuck, I don't know, man. How the hell does anyone do anything? I just wonder, those homeless people down the street, what the hell they're doing, and why that fulfills them enough, and like, how I ended up where the hell I am. That I'm just. Oh yeah. We're just all really fucking around, like in our bodies and just in this experience, and we don't have no idea why. And I just end up in these places, but I like it, and I'm just being grateful. And then it makes me walk around happy, and then people want to be around me, and that feels great too, because then I feel a part of the tribe. Oh yeah, which we're kind of far off tribes these days, because there's this mentality of one for all and like make your millions, which.
And also, you can't safely interact with people because you'll kill them. On top of that.
Oh, because of the psychedelic trips.
Yeah. And also because of coronavirus. But yeah, also that.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big changing factor.
Yeah, but
I almost forgot that happened.
It is crazy. I sometimes I forget too. It's like, yeah, I'm loving life. Cool. But. You said you were talking about all these thoughts that, and like that led me to think about Duncan Trussell. I think specifically because he put me in this headspace of, I think there are different times when I'm more present, and it's like there's sometimes when I'm really present and I'm like, oh, I'm having this thought, and I can note it, and I feel just very like I'm here. I'm able
breathing
to
exercises.
Yeah, exactly. Or like listening to Duncan Trussell, listening to his podcasts. With his mom, put me in that headspace. Just walking around afterwards, I was having all these thoughts, and I was like, I'm remembering this, and I wrote it all down later. Just like wrote it all out as much as I could, because it was just like not positive or negative thoughts. There was some weird stuff. There was some culturally weird stuff, I guess. It's
beautiful
just
to write that stuff, man.
It's so cool. It's just like, but normally I'm not in a mindset where I think I remember all my thoughts. There's like thoughts that I have that are just kind of passing, and I think you were talking about that. You were talking about that right before we went to Duncan Trussell, just like having all these thoughts.
Well, for me, I tell people when I'm teaching them the breathing exercises and an advantage of it, like you're in your river of consciousness, and that is where you're floating. You don't have a choice. Yeah. And then when you do a breathing exercise, you take a step out and you look at it, and you can notice that it's all different patches of thought patterns. Not that you get to choose how it flows ever. The strength of it's too strong. But you just get a moment out of it to come back in, to feel them wash by your feet and be like, yeah, okay, so yeah, those are just thoughts, and they come and go. They flow on this river. I don't know where the fuck the river comes from or where the hell it's going, but that's like the words, the consciousness that runs down. But you can kind of affect how it flows down as well by doing exercise and doing things. Then the river seems to ritually, maybe it's a goddamn roller coaster river that comes back in itself. Yeah. And if it's full of good stuff, then it's going to come back through to you as you're floating down it, past you, past the stuff. Yeah. As good things, as good vibes.
For sure.
Remembering everything, like all the info, that exercise that you did. When you actually need to remember it, you'll be like, God damn, this could be your wife at the time. It'll be like, she's just been a fucking bitch ever since she had this baby, and it's all about like, she can't do this and that, and she asks you like, oh, I feel this, and it's like, you can't fucking remember that positive ab workout that you did for yourself a while ago for prenatal people to make yourself feel better. You're just thinking like, God, man, she's so needy, and like, God, life's so hard. Doesn't she know all the things I got to do? But that's if you're in a bad space and you don't believe in
Yeah.
if your consciousness river isn't flowing full of just exercise and well-being will make everyone good and everything good.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that already, then you're in that spot, and then that's all you're going to give out because that's all you think. You're just like, well, maybe some ab workout. Oh my God, that ab workout that I did in the past, that would be so good for her. And
oh, that's so true. Yeah.
good food to help her fill up the things she's lacking now. And look at that kid that ended up retarded.
Yeah, the ability to take like when someone else is in a negative headspace.
Because of the drugs I use.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
That's a huge thought.
Yeah.
That I've been saying about the unpredictableness of this world and the hopes and desires that you ever have. And then I just take things to sometimes a really extreme level for people.
Same, yeah.
And I'm just like, well, yeah, just like when you want to try to have a baby, like you're going to have one day, you think? You might not, because you might find out you're infertile, or the partner you're with, or every single partner you're with, or it could die at birth. Like, this is horrible things to say.
Or it could be
looking at the negative that
in some way.
Deeply, you could have that beautiful child and it could come out, and then you could just find out you got a world of problems with it. And I see people that get this, and I think, their expectations were different, and I just roll without, I guess. Just keep trying to roll without and deal with things as they come. Yeah. And keep trying to fill that river with good thoughts. And
oh, for sure.
Holy
the idea
crap.
too, I think, talking about like if you have someone who's upset and they're like angry, it's easy if I'm not in a place where I'm thinking about good things and filled with positive vibes, it's easy to think, oh, this person is pulling me down. They're the reason why I feel bad now because they have problems and they're bringing their problems into my life. Whereas if I'm in a place myself, where I'm feeling good, where I'm like, oh, this is something I was dealing with, but this helped me. Being able to say, I have compassion for you is, I think, a huge step too, that I'm not able to do a lot of the time, because oftentimes that's like a goal that I hope to get to all the time, but so often now in my life someone has a problem and I'm just like, why are they talking to me about themselves all the time and how they all these bad things in their lives? Like I want to surround myself with people who are happy because that'll make me happy, but happiness isn't necessarily dependent on, I think, other people and what they're doing. Yeah, it's
a practice in being that person who constantly lives to be compassionate for people, and then you just have that thought going through your head. It's like, exercise, vegetables, being compassionate. And every time it approaches, and then you're like, be compassionate.
And it's just eventually a habit, hopefully, at some point.
Mm-hmm. And then, but then there's curveballs of motherfuckers.
Oh, for sure,
You don't know who the hell. And you're like, this guy is so far off. He is just so dead. Like, the German roots come in, like, let's fucking lock this guy up and let's put him in one of those showers. Jesus.
Oh, God. But I feel that, though. I feel that so much.
Fuck, it's hard.
Yeah, because there's just sometimes, too, I can't even explain it, but there's just someone who comes along, and for some reason I do really well with people who are similar, but then this one person just rubs me in the wrong way. And oftentimes afterwards, I find that they're the people who teach me the most about myself, of things that were there that I just like. But a lot of times in the moment, though, my ego hates it so much that it's like that moment is horrible.
I just become a sucker sometimes. Like I just start. I know that I feel something upset for them and at them. Yeah, and then it's in me, and then I just like, I kind of had it recently with a guy, and I just thought, like, he was just, I don't know, pretentious, or like so just why you gotta make things that way? Like, what are you doing, man? You're just wasting a bunch of time.
Oh my God.
Then
sorry, continue.
Then you're sitting there and you just don't want them. I just know that I'm wrong. I just know that that's wrong. And then I'm like, I get all suckery. I'm like, man, I got to do something for this person, because I think they're going to feel that I actually look down on them, because it is happening in my mind, and I'm getting attacked by these ideas, and I need to figure this out. Like, I need to figure out how that's just a person living on the goddamn planet, and he needs to do what he's got to do, and I shouldn't have a problem with it, or get a tribe and start a war.
Yeah, true.
Which, that's just not in our practice as much in the Western rich world. We could all just be, man. And I think this girl whose house I'm staying in, she just has it too. She has enough to, because we're so rich. Like, you can just go, like, say, what is mine is yours. And, like, with that mindset, I solely am only going to take what I can afford. I'm only going to do with what that will be amazing in the space. Like, people, I don't know. Then, like, we had some crossed ideas where I'm like, she's like, yeah, my bike's way better than yours. I'm like, well, I'll just take it for my bike ride. And then it's like, holy crap, I've just actually re-met this person in 2 days. And this guy could just totally start robbing me and doing, like, dodgy shit. Or those ideas even came to my head. And then I'm like, well, I'm not like, no, that's stupid. No, why would I do that? This person's amazing. I'd rather keep this person amazing by being amazing as well.
Yeah, and I think those ideas aren't inherently bad to have. Like, just because the idea exists doesn't mean that it's a thing that we have to get rid of. Like, it was just something that I struggle with oftentimes. It's like having thoughts like if I have an opinion of what is good and bad, and I have a thought like, what was it? When I was walking in the park, I had this thought of, like, I was comparing Mother Teresa to Hitler in my mind, which in the moment, like, I was like, Jesus, like, this is a horrible thought. Like, am I thinking now that it's, like, fine to go and, like, just kind of getting in that mindset of, like, of the in the end that the whole universe will cease to exist whenever, so nothing really matters. But then leading to these conclusions that are just morally pungent to me based on everything I've learned and everything I know and all my experience. But then also recognizing that, like, just because this thought now exists and that it came into my mind doesn't mean that I'm acting on that. And I think that trying to repress that thing, I'm not sure. It's trying to repress it and say, oh, that's a horrible thing to think, isn't necessarily healthy either.
That's really crazy, because if you try to repress it, what is it? The idea, and you're reinforcing an idea that is, instead of being like, oh, that's a crazy thought. That's crazy. And just rolling. If it keeps coming, it's a bit annoying for productivity. Productivity is when better ideas are happening, or better, great-minded, good vibe kind of things are happening. That's going to fill the spot of the energy. And it's going to be like, Mother Teresa, Hitler. And you're like, dude, this idea is so not cool, or not. Why are we being so judgmental of it? Why don't we just send it?
But oftentimes
write that
too,
down,
I think,
make a cartoon out of it. Put it on the internet.
Exactly, because it's an idea, and it just exists. And nothing that exists is good or bad until we say it's good or bad. Just because it exists in a certain form.
And that's opinion based, right?
That's true,
Due to everybody, the good and bad. And then there's groups that we want to fit in with, so we say it's good or bad. And I would vibe with people who say, eating well is good. I'm down with that. I'm down with those kinds of people.
I think a big thing for me too is just, like, working through these
fitting
thoughts
in with people
that come
all the
up.
time. Is it something that we should do all the time?
Yeah.
Ooh, you froze there.
Oh, yeah, internet connection is unstable. Now we're back. Cool. Yeah, I think for me too, like,
I'm back, baby.
Working through thoughts is good. Like, if I have a thought and then I'm like, wait, I had this thought. Now let me continue thinking about it to the point where I'm now where I'm able to say, I had this thought. It came from me, but it doesn't define me. It's just a thought that was passing, and I can let it go like any other thought that happens. It's not like a thought that I have to hold on to. Like, I recognize it, and it's a thing that exists, and I can treat it in many ways. I can treat it as this thought that's bad in this way. I can treat it as a thought that's good in this way. I can think about it in so many different ways, so many different paths we can choose to go down with any thought that we have.
Man, you are a bad person for thinking what you think, man.
Oh yeah, I know.
People who are judgmental
But
make you scared about, and like, if you're in a tribe and that group of people or your group of friends would know that you would be like they're always judgmental about what you think, then when you say something new, they're gonna be like, what the hell, man, what the fuck are you doing thinking
yeah,
with your thoughts, what the hell's all this?
yeah, true.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's give some appreciations. I want to shout out to Duncan Trussell, Russell Brand, Wim Hof, and Joe Rogan, and my brother Dean, and the lovely lady Farah, who's letting me stay at her place. Anyone you want to shout out to, Daniel?
Yeah, definitely. I want to shout out to my mom, Jean
Yes.
Granberg, and I want to shout out to her boyfriend, Brian Bennett, for letting me stay in their house and being super welcoming and kind and feeding me food and letting me go on hikes with them, taking me places. I want to shout out to you, Colin, for hosting me and having a great talk, because this has been so much fun and super, from a purely selfish point of view, like incredible experience for me. And I would like to shout out to a girl from my orchestra when I was in high school, Rosalie, who has been going on hikes with me, and her dog Charlie, who are both incredible. And being able to go swimming in glacial lakes with them has been great. And yeah, I want to shout out to my sister for being able to talk, being willing to talk with me about stuff that comes up, and yeah, just being a really good listener. And I want to shout out finally. What?
Practicing gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
Just in that, we're practicing gratitude.
For sure. And I want to shout out to my dad for soon letting me come to his place. And that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Peace out, listeners. We're going to figure out how to edit this into something beautiful. And Triggly Talks number 13. Thanks, Daniel.
Woo! It's been lots of fun. Thanks for having me.